Welcome, friends, to the 273rd episode of the Fake Nerd Podcast, where we're here to dive into our first What If topic. I am joined, of course, by the one who makes me ooh-woo, Ben Magnet.
Excuse me, what?
And I also have the one who gives me feelings of ada-ada,
Oh, God.
Ryan Eliopoulos.
Oh, Nani?
And, of course, my Oni-chan, Brandon T. McClure.
Have we become a weeb podcast?
I'm Sparks Whitty. We're here on the Fake Nerd Podcast. 3 weeks ago, I said I thought of a messed up intro to these three, and I finally delivered. And we are here to dive into a what if topic
Too bad we don't have an anime opening. That would have been great.
on Star Wars. But first, quickly, we need to recap a previously on from our holiday annual special.
Previously
Brandon,
on.
could you roll the clip?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a clip, and I just want to mention, rolling the clip right now, we will not be able to hear it. So we're going to describe it to you, Ben.
Excellent.
All
But this is for the audience. They can
This
hear
is
it.
for the audience. They'll be able
I
to
hope
hear
that's
it.
true.
Ben, sir,
Yes.
this is your
Oh,
gift.
Thank you.
And then we'll give him his real gift, right?
Did he get him?
That is
box,
his
yeah?
gift.
No, I'm just trying to see how long he'll think we're going to get him.
I know you're not going to get me.
You don't know for sure, though.
Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, the mystery machine.
Jeez.
Look at this.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
I knew you liked Scooby-Doo, but
I-
not...
I got Scooby-Doo socks. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The complete series on DVD.
Oh,
That's your favorite series too.
Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries and a Mystery Machine lunchbox.
Yeah.
Is there anything
Is there
in it?
anything in that box?
Oh, I was joking.
Scooby-Doo and Cyber Chase. Scooby-Doo Alien Invader Zombie Island. Scooby-Doo.
The last one's the best.
And of course, Stephen King, 1922.
Oh my God! All your favorite things in one little box.
They hear the actual.
Oh, yes,
we're
we're back. We're back. So
Oh, okay,
that was
okay.
There we are. There's
was
the recap.
the Christmas episode from last year.
Yes, absolutely. And that's when Ben got a bunch of Scooby-Doo and one Stephen King book, and he was saying, "You're not going to get me." But I did,
You mother effers.
because that wasn't Ben's real gift.
you mother effer.
Merry Christmas.
Here
Merry Christmas, Ben.
is Ben's real
Jesus.
Christmas gift.
That was
You-
the long... We played the long game on you. Here's your other... No, I'm
This is
kidding.
the prologue.
You know what? I saw this present when I got here earlier this afternoon. I'm like, oh, I wonder who that's for. I literally did not think this was. What, dude? Why? Why?
You really think he would get you a bunch of Scooby-Doo merchandise?
Yes, actually.
I mean,
well, I
like,
mean, yes.
I still,
I
have,
did.
I still have
I
those
did.
socks. I
That is
still
all
have-
still Ben's gift,
Listen,
but it wasn't Ben's real gift.
sometimes like things take a long time to get places.
Open it.
Okay,
Well, you better
I'm-
open it,
I'm
bud.
opening it. Jesus.
Open. Live unboxing.
Live on
It's a
OG.
signed picture of the cast of Scooby Doo.
That would have been
I know
hilarious.
it's not, but I know
Barely
exactly
opened it.
what this is. And I'm wearing the T-shirt. Oh, yes, it is.
I recall this. You told me about this.
For listeners at home, Ben is currently unwrapping the deluxe edition
Oh, wow,
of
that
the
looks sick.
Sonic Encyclopedia.
Oh,
Beautiful.
babe. Sonic book.
Oh,
You
Ben-
knew?
Ben-
Okay.
I can see it.
You knew.
My
Ben's-
girlfriend's
Ben's
house.
girlfriend in the other room there,
That's funny.
making the snidest remarks.
Oh, thank you, Sparks.
You
You're very
radical.
welcome.
By the way, can I just say the comedy moment of "you knew"? I can see it. It's very good.
Yeah, this is the 30th anniversary encyclopedia.
Yeah, get it right. Yeah.
Ah,
It actually says it on the cover.
it
That's actually
does.
a really
It
cool
does.
hardcover
It
thing
is.
too. Yeah,
It's so like the actual book itself. It has a bunch of different screenshots from all the games.
Oh.
amazing.
So this is like just the protective case. And thank
For-
you.
You're welcome. For anyone who would have missed our holiday annual, I got very thoughtful, singular gifts for Brandon and Ryan. And I also had one for Ben. But it didn't ship when it was supposed to.
Liars.
Yeah,
So I
that's-
had to come up with something else.
That's been a thing.
and the
this
solution
year.
was Scooby-Doo.
Hey, guess what? We're here now. Merry
I'll set this
Christmas.
to the side for you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
What month are we in? February.
February.
Oh,
Merry
So it's like a-
February, Miss.
So it's a month and a half.
February, Miss.
Good.
It's a late Valentine's present.
A good long
Damn,
play.
I scored on Valentine's Day this year. Holy shit.
Oh, Ben, we don't need to hear about that.
I'm not gonna say anything about that. Thank
okay.
you, Sparks. I really appreciate
You're
you.
very welcome.
Does that have
Beautiful.
something to do with the fact that Fanny also told me that she sees a bunch of dicks now?
No.
What?
Well, she was talking about how much
We were talking
Wikipedia-
about Euphoria. There's context to this.
There is
there is
context.
We saw
Context.
Jackass. A lot of dicks in there. Listen, there's context. Now we got a cat on the counter.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to see Jackass earlier. Anyway, okay, so
We may now continue to your regularly scheduled program.
Yes. Welcome everyone. Welcome back. Hi guys. We're in person for once.
You could tell because we sound so good.
And we have links in the
Oh,
description. Actually, it was quite a busy week for us.
Was it?
Throughout the week, Sparks put up some video content.
Oh yes.
Such as our Book of Boba Fett Fic Nerds Watch. That's up right now. That is linked below. You can check that out. That was a lot of fun to do. Feel like we covered that pretty well.
Definitely a precursor to today's topic.
Yeah.
mhm.
And of course, our Star Trek Discovery season 4 Fake Nerds Watch series that I do with Michael Carls from the Downright Nerdy podcast. That was a lot of fun to do. The 8th episode is up in the description below. We've recorded the 9th where Just a Little Podcast Cookie has returned to the show.
Whoop, whoop.
Very excited.
Whoop.
Talking about a show that is quickly losing us.
Oh no.
Based on Arcade Pause Menu had a new episode this week.
Yes, it was. And this one was a little different because this one wasn't about like a game or a system or whatever. It was about fixing said games and systems with my friend Retro Zoe from Twitter.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That exists in both an audio and video
Mm-hmm.
format, both of which you can find below.
Yep.
A snippet from last week's episode for the Nintendo Direct.
Oh yeah, because that was a fun 30 minutes to talk about.
I didn't
and then-
realize we talked about that for 30 minutes. I love
Neither
it.
did I. It felt like 10.
So that's up as its own Basement Arcade episode. That again is a snippet from last week's episode. So if you just want to watch the Nintendo Direct, there you go. Drop
Mhm.
it- it's up
You
there
can.
for you. Also, another snippet from a previous episode is Matrix Resurrections went up this week.
Mhm.
Just a review of Matrix Resurrections.
I like how it says in in quotations positive because like we're not yelling about this one, guys.
No, we're not.
And Mortal Kombat X for Basement Arcade went up this week as well. That's the 3rd episode.
Mhm.
I remember
Part 3, the literal kiss of death.
I remember enjoying playing that game.
Do you have my stuff
did
with the
happen.
Grace and Live in there? or
I'm
no?
getting there, Ben.
Oh, okay.
That's why he said there's a lot of links.
Ben.
Sorry.
You know what? Now you're last. That was the next thing I was going to say. Now you're last.
Okay.
Damn.
Sorry.
No. Oh yeah. Yes, you did the. That's all the links for like the show. All of those can be found below. Right. Yeah. So Ben this week put up new Grayson Live
Mhm.
over on his channel.
Yep.
Go subscribe to that. Put up 2 new episodes
Mhm.
for Super Mario 3D World
Yeah.
Kart video.
Yeah. One
game.
where we get our asses handed to us because we were rusty as all hell, and another one where we did decent. Weren't as bad, but the first one, oh man, we were losing lives left and right.
I watched that episode. It was more than a little frustrating.
Sorry. Well, you don't really play platformers, so.
No. I was just watching you fail.
Oh yeah. I
Was-
thought you would laugh at that most of the time.
Why would I want you to fail, Ben? You think so little of me.
Never mind.
Anyway, so
Gemma.
cat. The joys of recording in person is a bunch of cats.
She's needy. She's lovely. Maybe she's worth it.
Do you mean maybe
That's the
she's
new-
Maybelline?
That's maybe she Maybelline.
Yeah, of
new
course.
thing?
Yeah.
All right. And so that's all. So Ben, you didn't have a downright annoyed this week.
Negative.
I mean,
Um,
Ryan. You
well,
said
no,
Ben.
No, Ben was Grayson Live, and then Ryan was.
I know, but you said Ben, you didn't have a downright annoyed this week.
Okay, I see where you're going with. That's not what was in my head. All right, look. As always, my author page for my Screen Rant work is linked below. I put up some new articles this week. Obviously, I got to write a crap ton. I'm having a really good time with it. It's a lot of fun. I put up a Scream list. Pirates of the Caribbean list went up this week, and a list that I was really excited to write, which was about John Powell, who's a composer I really love. Got to talk about what I feel are his 10 best soundtracks.
Beautiful.
All 3 of those I think are pretty good, and I really enjoyed writing them. So check them out. And then we have my newest entry of the revisiting the Infinity Saga series that I'm doing over on Atomic Geekdom. This is moment 46, which is the for the moment after Coulson dies and Loki escapes. So like when Nick Fury is talking to Steve and Tony.
Mm-hmm. Still believe in heroes.
Yeah, it's a moment I really love, and I've been talking about the Marcus and McFeely films a lot, so I wanted to switch it up and go to a different one. So yeah, that went up this week. Nick Fury still believes in heroes, so
Go check it out. It's really good.
thank you, I appreciate
Welcome.
it. That's everything.
Great.
Nice.
That's all of our links. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first because I did jack shit.
Hell
All right,
yeah,
Ben,
baby.
do it.
So outside of writing, because your boy's got deadlines now, yay, I played just a tiny little bit of Demon Souls, got to the Tower Knight,
Little
then
bit.
got my ass kicked.
That does tend to happen.
That's
like
what
that, yeah.
happens in a Soulsborne game, my friends.
Well, specifically, like that's one of like the tougher guys in the game too.
Yeah, and also it took me a freaking forever to get across that goddamn bridge. But that's besides the point.
The one with the dragon?
Yeah, the dragons plural.
Yeah.
Actually, no,
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
no, you're right, dragon.
Yeah.
Just the one because he keeps following you like a little bitch.
Did you get his tail?
I did not. Besides that, speaking of dragons, Vox Machina, that season 1 ended. I actually was able to watch and finish The Legends of Vox Machina. It's fantastic. It got me wanting to re-listen to the D&D campaign. It makes me miss D&D, even though I rarely played it, and I want to play again very badly. Ryan was telling me I should really listen to campaign 2, even though I should, but I really miss those characters.
No, I get it.
Other than that, that's awesome. Also, I watched 3 episodes of the Cuphead show, which came out.
Yes,
Guys, that animation style it goes really well on Netflix. They even have like this filter where it looks like an old 30s cartoon, and it just looks good. It looks like it's from the 30s, but also the animation is smooth. It's right on point. It feels like this is a cutscene from the game.
Is it? Because like I wasn't sure. Is it mature? Is it for kids? Like I'm not sure. Like what?
It's a kid. Okay, I wouldn't say it's a kid show, but I would definitely say it's got like those old Betty Boop vibes.
It's just as mature as like old cartoons are, where you're like, oh, kids watch this. That's a little strange, but like it's that.
I mean, I'm only 3 episodes in, and I haven't really gotten to many big adult jokes that might have flown under the radar. Nothing like from Animaniacs or SpongeBob, but but all in all, it's a solid, very well made show. The voice acting does sound like these actors came from the 1930s.
I love it,
and it makes me look forward to the Cuphead DLC. It makes me miss playing the game, and when even the opening has a bunch of characters and bosses from the games or the game plural. And it's like, damn, they put a lot of love and attention into it. So I have to say, Cuphead is really good. Give that show a shot.
I also watched the first episode of the Cuphead show. I enjoyed it. I think the animation is slightly below the level of what I'd rather it would be for being a mock of a classic cartoon. It's essentially what I said about watching one of the trailers. Pretty much the entire Devil's musical number sequence, he's too polished for what the animation style is of what they're going for.
I'll give you that. There were times he looked a little too clean.
It's almost frustrating because like there's sequences, especially like the way they do like the multiple layering for the depth of field, which is they're using the same technique they use in old animation. So it's literally different levels of animation that are filmed separately to give it that depth. Looks really good and does look like it's the old fashioned animation, and it retains that look so many times. And then you get these character models that come in and they have the shininess is in the wrong places, and it's too polished, and it's that cleaned up look that's more modern animation sleekness seeping in. And that to me just like junks up the look a little bit, only because like the game didn't have any of that. And that's what was so valuable about the game. Literally looks like those old cartoons. This looks kind of like an homage to old cartoons rather than 100% looking like I would not watch this and think that this came from that time period. You get me?
I get you.
It's too modern looking.
There's some things that are just adapting modern animation a little too much, whereas like the game looks exactly like what those things look like. And I wish the show did just like full-blown kind of go for that entire concept of appearance. We're going to kind of circle back on this similar idea when we talk about a trailer later, but it's still very good. Like it's really good looking animation. It's just I wish that it went all the way for it. For what it's trying to do.
I remember when we first saw the trailer for the Cuphead show, we were wondering if it was an anthology or if it was like a sequence or like a series. It's anthology. It's like old cartoons. It's like they get Cuphead and Mugman get into some hijinks and then they get out of it.
Cool. Oh, okay.
Yeah, with an overarching narrative with the devil.
Yeah, because at the end of the first episode, Mugman keeps telling that Cuphead owes the devil his soul.
Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, it's a hilarious. I really enjoyed it. And also, they're super short. They're 11 minutes long.
Yeah, when I found that out, I'm like, I'm definitely makes it easier for me to want to watch.
Yeah, you can blow through that.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all I did this week. Just did a lot of writing and a lot of cramming, because I crammed Peacemaker in 3 days.
Hell yeah, you did.
That's true. Do you want to go next?
Sure. I also watched Peacemaker because it came out this week, and I'm not going to say anything about it because we recorded a whole show talking about it, and you can check that out this week on our Fake Nerds Watch channel. Channel playlist.
Like this video and subscribe to our channel.
I watched the latest. I'm totally caught up on After Party. I watched the latest episode of that. Great show. This one I didn't know this one was in the roster. We've talked about After Party before. For a reminder, that's the one where they're recounting the night because of a murder that happened, and everybody's telling their own version of a story, and that's basically a different film genre. I did not know that in the mix was an animation. And that's what this episode was. It was an animated piece pretty good, pretty
Nice.
cool.
That's cool. I heard about that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This was a nice one. Shorter than I think all the others, but it really worked.
Emma, move.
It's cats in the frame.
And
all the way.
Yeah, get that booty in there, girl.
she's
I'm the booty cat.
Oh my gosh.
she's being a whole thing right
There
now.
you
Hell yeah,
There
she
you
loves
go.
the attention.
I also finished Murderville, which was the Sharon Stone and Ken Jeong episodes.
Mhm.
Good, like all the same things I've said about Murderville the past couple weeks. Like Murderville's, it touches that nice little button of the improvisation. If you want just like, oh, it's light and not any kind of stakes to it kind of thing, it's enjoyable to watch. Sharon Stone's, I haven't seen Sharon Stone do anything in a long time. It was very charming to watch her.
Yeah.
She came to play. Latest How I Met Your Father came out. Still like that show.
I missed
think
that
it's doing
episode this
good.
week.
This very much like I said last week. This is very much like maintaining How I Met Your Mother kind of style. It feels like it's really starting to seep through and also become its own identity. I like it.
This is not in the news, but it was renewed for a second season.
Yes, that's true. It was renewed for a second 20 episode season, so double the length of this one, which is great.
Yeah.
Very happy for them. I lied to you earlier, Ben. I did watch some Mobile Suit Gundam. I forgot. It's on my list though,
it's
and
all right.
and I realized that the latest episode I watched, I did watch. Keeping up with Gundam, just barely notching it in each week, but getting through.
There you go. It's a long show, so
It is a long show. Superman and Lois, we watched another episode. We're trying to do our catch up.
That show's so good.
It was a good episode. It was solid. Yeah, it's a good show. Legends of Tomorrow, I'm working my way back up to keeping up with what's going on right now. I'm like 2 episodes behind. Legends of Tomorrow continues to be a charming highlight of the CW verse. I think it's very good. This last one was all about this crew that was damned in hell because they made a deal to like film something really important, but they all died before it happened, and so now like their souls are haunting hell until they capture something real. And so they basically try and force all these reality scenarios where they affect people's emotions and film a reality series trying to make them do something specific.
Wait, I'm sorry. What show are you talking about?
Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's real good. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I got into an episode where Batwoman was doing a lot of interesting stuff. I don't know entirely how I feel about it. We'll see. I watched Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
I love that movie.
That is the downright on the red movie that I picked for this week that I missed.
It's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. I love that movie.
Yeah, I think it's now that I watched both Step Brothers and Dewey Cox, and those were the 2 comedies that I put like in the top of my head as number 1. I think Dewey Cox is now number 1. It holds up. I think it holds up better.
It does. It holds up really well.
You get out of here, Dewey. You ain't not wanting none of this shit.
I having now watched Walk Hard and Step Brothers so close to each other, I truly think Walk Hard is the superior.
Oh yeah,
it's just incredible from top to bottom.
yeah, and it doesn't have poorly aged jokes in it.
No, not at all.
Smoking reefer.
Yeah, because everything that would be is like done on purpose.
Yeah.
Game Changer. Watched a handful of episodes this week. Just a great show.
I've
Great
been
show from
here
College
the
Humor.
whole time.
Love it.
Watch some of that today.
Mhm.
And the last thing I did is that this morning the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super dropped, and I read it, and it's good.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Ryan, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I watched one episode of Murderville, the Marshawn Lynch one. Yeah, he's a footballer man, but he's just like a natural personality. He's really, really funny. There's a scene where they're doing like police interrogation, and there's like the one-way mirror. So like the convicts or the criminals can't see inside to the cops. It's just a mirror. Well, it's there's nothing there. It's just an empty thing. So they walk in. He's like, "Oh my God, we got a mirror. Everything they're doing exactly. So they don't know it's a mirror." And he's like, "How does that make any sense?" He's like, "Don't think about rational thought." So they have to just like mirror as they're doing stuff in the room, and it's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And it's so funny. Really good shit.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do anything else this week besides play Cyberpunk 2077. I wish I could have played a whole lot more. 18 months later, that PS5, well, the PS5 wasn't out 18 months ago, but that next gen upgrade and all the big patches have come out for 2077. If you're a longtime listener of this podcast, we were all very excited. I was very excited for that. And then it came out and it was a a true disaster, one of the biggest disasters in video game history.
I had my faction, my character name, everything laid out, and then the news showed up.
Yeah. If you had a really, really powerful PC, like you had a good experience. Like there's a lot of people who had a really good time almost 2 years ago, but it was still plagued with bugs. But you know, almost 2 years later, that game got its big update. You know, after No Man's Sky, I was like, you know what? If a developer wants to stick with a game that came out bad, like poorly, and they stick with it for years and give us free content, that I will give that game a shot. And I'm happy to say, Cyberpunk 2077 lives up to all the hype that it initially warranted. It may not be the most incredible looking game of all time, but it's because it's doing so much shit. It is so dense with content. It's, if you love like hardcore RPGs with tons of stats, it's D&D. It's Cyberpunk D&D. That's like,
well, it's based off a tabletop game.
Yeah, it's based off a tabletop game, and like the combat's a very first person shooter, and it's a big open world, and you're picking up lots of quests, and like it doesn't have like 200 hours worth of content like in Assassin's Creed where you're just going and picking up 100 feathers for no reason. There is a lot of side content and things to pick up, but they all matter to the story and they all build inside of each other, which is what The Witcher did. And the combat is just so fun, and what's so fun about it is being a cyberpunk, like you have all these hacking abilities. So not only are you doing first-person shootings in cover and like picking up grenades and shit like that, you can blind your enemies. You can reboot their system so they like get paralyzed for a couple seconds. You can overheat them to make them spontaneously combust. You watch me fight a cyber hacker who is like this like zombie on the street who can move like the agents in the Matrix, like zoop 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 zoop, and it scared the shit out of me the first time I encountered one, and it was so fun, and it was so cool. I had to show Sparks. I'm just having such a good time, and it is so well written, and so many of the side quests I've done so far are not even combat oriented. One of the quests is there's an AI delivery service, taxi service, and there's 7 rogue AI taxis that I have to go find, and I have to chase them down and bring them back to HQ, and they're just rogue taxis. The other thing is one of your best friend dies in the prologue of the game, and there's a 20-minute side quest where you just go to his mom's bar, and you have a funeral for him, and all of his friends come and give their service and love, and you give a speech, and I'm just like, this is completely missable. But they put so much thought and care behind all the characters and all the side stuff. It's so cool. There's a great thing. If you guys seen Blade Runner, you know, like when you're looking at videos, you can enhance, like you look inside and stuff. Mm-hmm. And this thing, you can, because you're dealing with computer software and people's brains, you can go into their memories and you can look at them from every angle, and you do detective work like in the Arkham games. So you'll rewind footage to find the right gun, to take a picture of it, to find the serial coding and all that stuff. So it's so much content. And it is so laid out so beautifully, and it looks so good. And I've had very little bugs. There's been a few bugs here and there, but nothing game breaking. Like I saw a dude did a T-pose for half a second, and I was like, "Oh, the Matrix!" And I glitched out for a second. Besides that, it's been great. I'm having so much fun. I love it. It's all I've been thinking about. It feels like Westworld, the video game, because there's just everyone's like half robots, and like you have a little jack-in thing that you're constantly just plugging into walls and stuff, and like you're like getting booted into computers as like a person. It's just heavy, crazy, cool shit. And I'm so glad that it's good, because if I would have waited all this time and then it was bad, I would have been doubly disappointed. It's great. I'm gonna talk about it probably next week too. That's me.
That's great, man.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I will go next. I watched a bit more Battlestar Galactica. We're nearing the end. I wanted to bring it up now because it's really interesting watching that show now as an agnostic.
Mm-hmm.
When the first time I watched it was as an atheist, and it's very interesting because like the show is about thematically about, I don't say like the full, we all know the plot, but like thematically it's about like old god versus new gods. Mm-hmm. Old gods versus new god. So it's like God, the one god fighting the Greek Roman gods. So that's kind of like the thematic message of it. Like the Cylons do what they do because they are tasked by God, because they believe in one god, and the Colonials believe in many.
Okay.
And it's really interesting as the last two seasons really go hard into it, whereas the first 2 seasons don't really, but the other kind of run into the end. They're just kind of like, okay, we need to put a button on it. So like, I don't know if this is Ron Moore's whole thing, but like, it's really interesting that they decide to take a side that yes, one of these gods is real and one of them isn't.
I'll be honest, I love a lot of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
It's this stuff that starts to lose me a little bit.
Yeah,
especially the later seasons where I'm like, I see what you're doing. It's not working for me.
I still think it has a strong ending, and I think that it I still love it. Like, it's my favorite show.
Yeah.
But like the show peaks at season 2.
Yes,
And that-
it peaks hard.
Yeah,
I think,
that season 2, that second season is incredible.
Yeah.
And then like I think it's good stuff. It's just interesting that they almost kind of felt like backed into a corner of message wise. Like they don't really want to say this as the message, but like they have to.
Yeah,
it's weird. But hey, I'm almost done with it. I love it. Surprises keep coming. Love these characters. I love these characters. I love Adama and Kara and all that. Also, it's really interesting that like at the time where we're at, the final four of the final 5 Cylons have been revealed to us, and not to the characters, but the characters think a different character is one of the final 5. And I can't say what because I know Sparks is interested in seeing the show, so I don't want to give too much away. But he, so like everyone calls this person a Cylon, and like as the audience we're like, what are you doing? Why are you all racist all of a sudden? Like, what happened? But because we've known so early who these 4 were, but the characters still haven't found out yet. So it's a very strange way to pace that reveal. That's enough negative about it. I love the show. I'm really happy we're watching it, and Zara's really enjoying it. So
beautiful.
Great.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. For Valentine's Day, we watched a movie called Marry Me. That's the new rom-com.
It's the sequel to Anaconda.
Yeah. Yes, actually.
Because they're both in that movie. Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Very charming. I really enjoyed this rom-com. It's got a good cast. Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez have very good chemistry, and kind of them playing off each other so well helps the movie progress more. So like it's mostly kind of a weird generic rom-com.
It elevates it a little bit,
but their chemistry helps it.
Sure.
Along with buying the fact that this is a very ridiculous
setup,
even for a rom-com.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm still kind of interested in watching it. I know it's on Peacock, so I'm able to watch it, but I'm kind of been interested in that. Even though when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that kind of looks like man. But then the more I saw the trailer, I was like, actually, that looks kind of adorable.
It's cute. It's a good time. There's some good laughs.
I do have opinions,
real
Grayson.
quickly, Grayson is in the chat. Hello, sir.
Oh, Grayson.
Just out of curiosity, does anyone have any strong opinions on Forbidden West? If not, all good.
Absolutely. So yeah, Grayson, it's getting really, really good reviews. And from what I've watched a lot of gameplay, and like if you are a big fan of that first game, you are gonna love this game. It is from what I've seen, not the huge incremental step that I would want personally in your sequel. It is very much a prettier version of that first game with a little more mechanics. So if you're cool with that, then like go on board. Like I personally, like I just don't want to play a 1.5 version that looks really good. I want like, it's not Breath of the Wild, and like so I'm not. I'll wait for a sale personally.
They don't really make any strong leaps in like the combat system. Kind of like the Tomb Raider trilogy didn't really change the combat system from game to game.
And there's certainly there's definitely more stuff. Like I don't want to trash a game I haven't played. Like it's getting really good reviews, but like a lot of people are saying like it is an improvement on the first one, but don't expect a huge leap. Yeah. So like it's up to you how much you want that. Good game though by all accounts.
I haven't even played the first one yet, but I will play it eventually.
Yeah.
I got it for free during the States of Play. It's like I'm not gonna pass up Horizon for free.
I'm glad you didn't. All right, so I also watched the assembled episode that dropped this week, which was on Eternals. Eternals is on Blu-ray now, and so the new assembled dropped. By the way, I'm very curious if they're going to make a Spider-Man No Way Home assembled.
I hope so.
Like,
they have to. Yeah, when it hits.
But like, can they?
Are there Spider-Man ones on?
No.
Then no.
Ooh.
Then there's your answer. I thought they would have been.
When did they start doing assembled though?
For the TV shows, right?
Once Disney Plus
launched. But because all the footage would be owned by Sony, not by Marvel. Disney.
Probably not then.
So
Yeah.
Probably not.
Dang it! I want to see that now.
I would love to see it. Maybe Sony will put it on a streaming service somewhere, or they'll license it out.
They want you to buy that Blu-ray.
They want you to buy that Blu-ray.
I mean, let's be real. That they got my money for that Blu-ray ever since I saw the movie. I was like, well, I'm buying that Blu-ray.
And so I watched the assembled episode because I've been watching all of them. This might have been the best one. I thought this was very enjoyable. This was a very thorough look at the making of Eternals, and kind of like not a lot of talk about how this like redefines the MCU, but like in the sense that like Chloe Zhao had a passion for telling the story, and you can tell in that, and that like got everyone else really passionate about it. And then Kevin Feige chimes in with the same kind of thing he said about every single one of them for a brief moment, because they probably recorded them all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other people are talking about like, yeah, Chloe Zhao really energized us, and we had this idea, and going into like the look of the film and how they structured like the how they built all the sets, how they built the costumes, how they built the design look, like so much passion went into Eternals. It was honestly very shocking to me. Not to say that like no passion goes into the Marvel films, but like Chloe Zhao, that's her movie.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
is the movie that she wanted to make. It is the movie she set out to make. It's her voice in that movie.
That's good.
And that didn't click for me until I watched the assembled episode, and I highly recommend it. Even if you don't like Eternals, definitely recommend it.
All right.
Nice. All about it. Love it.
So I also watched 3 episodes of Jessica Jones season 2.
Ooh.
The Marvel shows are leaving soon, so I wanted to give it a shot, but it wasn't grabbing me yet. It's not grabbing me yet as much as like season 1 did, and I think it's not really a villain yet. Like we were introduced to David Tennant's Kilgrave pretty early.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then and we haven't gotten that yet with Jessica Jones, so it's a
Right.
little weird. It's good stuff. It's a good show. I really like Kristen Ritter as Jones still, but I wasn't really doing it for me.
Mhm.
So then I was like, maybe I'll watch Star Wars: The Twins for the 40th time, which is the Star Wars Visions episode, made by Trigger. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I've watched this so many times. What else could I do that's Trigger? So I just decided to watch Kill la Kill. Sparks has tried to get me to watch for many years. We actually sat down and watched the first episode a very long time ago.
My thing is like, I know Brandon loves Gurren Lagann, and I'm like, it's just the exact same energy, but about women.
Yeah.
Like it's the same.
But I don't know why it took me so long, but like I'm finally here, and you've all watched Kill la Kill, and
Well, except Ben, he hasn't finished it.
Ben hasn't finished it.
Finished it. I've seen half of it.
Yes.
Over half of it.
Yeah.
Technically, so have I.
That's in there.
I've seen 13 episodes, which is just over half.
We're all on the same page halfway.
Yes. It is a wonderful show. That is exactly what I was looking for from Trigger, especially. The humor it works so well for me. I love the action. The chaos. And now, audience members, when I say chaos, I mean chaos. The absolute chaos on every screen, on everything is perfection. It's just, there's a dinner scene where we're first introduced to the family that our lead is going to be staying with for the rest of the series, and the just that scene is just filled with like the dog gets thrown out the window for eating things, and then the dog jumps back in, and like it's just that like 40 times over, and it's such a wild show. It's
High school's crazy, you guys.
Like I was gonna ask Sparks, like, how can I boringly describe this? I can't, but I also can't describe it. Like, it's a very crazy show, and I'm really digging
Battle
it.
High School.
I really love it.
Yeah. I'm real happy for you.
And after this, I'll probably rewatch Gurren Lagann, because that's really what I want. One of the things I love so much about anime is escalating power levels with your sheer willpower, breaking the laws of reality, which is all Gurren Lagann is basically. I just watch
Anime in general loves that, but Gurren Lagann like thrives on that.
There's a bit in Gurren Lagann that I just rewatched where Simon's goggles turn into communist glasses, which then turn into like stars. Like, and that's just
his goggles go from goggles to common glasses to like other glasses.
Trigger is the definition of that Kylo Ren gif. More,
yes.
more.
And so like that's the thing. That's what I really love that shit. I really love that idea of like believing in yourself so much that you can accomplish anything, and then the Trigger just does that, like believing in yourself so much that the laws of physics don't apply to you anymore.
It's that dude running in the Matrix.
Yeah. And so like that's what Kill la Kill is, and it's been wonderful.
Don't believe in yourself. Believe in me. Believe in the me that believes in you.
I really into it. I can't wait to see where it goes next.
Hell yeah.
Just the idea of like, we start in a place, we learn what this thing is, and then as it gets progressively more ridiculous, like her like suit like evolves and things. It's crazy. I love
uniform.
All right,
gotta earn it.
Yep.
You gotta wear me, and I must wear you, or I must be worn by you. It's like, what does that even mean?
I my memory's so bad. I was like, Kill la Kill's like 5 years old, right? I'm like, no, it's almost 10 years old.
What?
Damn it! 2013.
Good
yeah,
luck.
because like I watched Kill la Kill like 5 years ago. I was like, no, because I was doing this podcast 5 years ago.
It was a while ago.
God damn it!
I keep thinking that. Oh yeah, Gurren Lagann's
That
not
one
that
hurts
old.
because I haven't watched it since then. I'm like, oh yeah, I just watched that. Nah, it's been almost a decade.
I watched Kill la Kill the moment the dub came out.
Yeah,
Really, there's some anime. I was like, oh yeah, it's not that old. And then you look how long it's been, and you're like, what?
That's happened. That's us.
That's-
That's like an aged cheese.
That's what I got. So
Beautiful.
shall we
Great.
get into
I
our
love it.
bread and butter?
Yum yum in my tum tum.
Absolutely.
Oh, I messed up.
You didn't.
No, it's
So there's this old adage in theater called "vamp till you cramp." So
no. It's over. It's all the way over there, and then I got to charge it. It's not happening.
oh,
It's not happening.
never mind.
Look, it is up. I can pull it up on my phone. I have it on my laptop. We'll just do.
I
the
thought you were about to
newsletter.
pull up your Hershey's milk chocolate bar.
You know what? I almost did because I thought that was my phone. I don't know where my phone is.
Siri, where's this phone?
Wait. Ha ha!
You got
I
it.
found it. I'd rather do this from my phone so I can actually see.
So the old adage of
This-
theater is
this
the
thing.
goes vamping, vamp till you cramp.
Vamp till you cramp. Where you're on stage, you can hold a note, or you're improving, and the music guy could just hit the
Ow, my
same
back.
notes over and over
Okay.
and
Ow,
over.
my back.
So we got sad news up top.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't like sad news.
Tom Veitch, who is an author
Oh shit, he's an old yeah.
for Marvel Comics. He did a lot of the I have it right here actually. He wrote Animal Man for DC, but he also
Yep.
did Dark Empire and Tales of the Jedi for Marvel. Those are the Timothy Zahn books, I believe, or at least one of them is.
No, Dark Empire is like a whole like multimedia thing that they were doing,
That's
including
right,
books, movies,
that's right.
comics.
Mm.
Except movies didn't happen.
Yeah. So he passed away at the age of 80.
That sucks. I didn't.
Aw.
I didn't like recognize his name until now. But like yeah, like when I was younger, like that era of Star Wars was like really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all those PC games like Dark Forces and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I like those books. All right. So we also have comic book news.
I guess we
We
read
did my last book club before Boba Fett was JLA Avengers, right?
Yes.
Well, when we talked about how it should be reprinted, it is getting reprinted.
Oh, good.
George Perez is in hospice now. His condition is not great.
Mhm.
And the Hero Initiative. So Marvel and DC have partnered with the Hero Initiative to print 7,000 new copies of JLA Avengers to be released next month in March. All the proceeds will go to George Perez's hospice living,
That's incredible.
Buying it.
and it will be available to comic book retailers from Diamond.
7,000 is not a lot.
No,
That's
it's
not a
not.
lot.
So like
you are unlikely to get.
then I was gonna say you're unlikely
Never-
to get it because they're
never
probably
mind.
gonna be hella expensive too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
The-
I mean that's fine. Like
the
it
cover
is like
price is $30.
oh that's not bad at all.
That's not bad.
I would pay $30
Wait
for
for
that
a
book.
12 issue.
That's a 12 issue.
Holy
Maxi.
Holy shit.
No, it's a 5.
Oh, it's a 5?
What am I thinking
four?
of?
It's 4.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. Sorry, I'm thinking of.
Yeah, JLA Avengers,
Avengers
which we
Forever.
read for the book club. That's
I'm thinking
4.
of Avengers. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
right.
It's 4 prestige.
Oh, okay. But it's like it's double size. It's double size.
$30 is still cheap, is what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
and
I thought it was gonna be like
It's gonna have
$100.
like background stuff too, and like a letter from Stan Lee.
Damn, only 7,000?
Yeah, so it's great that they're doing this, and the thing is, like the editors in charge of this have talked about like, you know, if we could print more, we would. It's it's a legal thing with Marvel and DC, right?
Oh.
You
Like
know-
they can print this many to help him, but they can't like mass produce it. Maybe.
right,
That-
and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like and so
That
that's why
makes
it's probably going through
sense.
Diamond also because it's not
Penguin.
it's
yeah.
not Penguin or Lunar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's a bummer that it's only 7,000 because like you could stock this in every store ever, and this is going to sell.
You can stock this
insane
at
amounts.
not only just at stores, but also Barnes and Noble too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sure if they could, they would have.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But
You're right.
you
I'm
know,
probably not gonna get a copy. It sucks because
I mean,
I'm willing to
yeah.
give them money because I want George Perez to be better or
Yeah.
not be better, but him to be more comfortable.
Yeah.
And also the fact that team up is out of print, it kind of bums me out because that's a really good story. I really enjoyed that.
Mhm.
yeah, we-
Outside the amalgam books, this is something I would want on my shelf.
because the publishing rights are owned by both companies.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a logistical issue.
Yeah.
Dang
Yep.
it.
That's what my assumption could be.
Happy they even got this.
Me
Absolutely.
too. Like the fact that this is happening is crazy.
Although now I wonder how much more I'm willing to pay from a second-hand seller at a
Not that
con.
much.
Ben, we just talked about your
400?
finances.
Yeah, we did,
We
we
know
did.
you're not buying this.
No, wait, you're right. You're right.
All
Cover
right.
price, yes. Other than that, probably not.
Realistically, it probably only because I looked after we did our discussion about it. The previous collected edition sells for secondhand like 300, so it's probably not going to go
Fudge.
above that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have the single issues. I'm okay.
Never
you go.
mind.
I had a quest to collect every Marvel DC crossover book,
I remember that quest.
and I have succeeded.
That's good.
Beautiful. You have all the amalgam?
He does.
Incredible. Dark Claw.
And the original Marvel versus DC.
Mm.
All right, guys, want more Batman books?
No,
It depends.
Well, let's see. Batman Fortress
no.
is coming.
Oh yeah, I don't know about this one.
Batman Fortress is written by Gary Whitta and will be drawn by Derek Robertson.
Derek Robertson.
This is an 8-issue limited series. Witta's first DC work, as he previously co-wrote Rogue One: A Star Wars Story.
Yeah, he wrote Rogue One. He also wrote The Book of Eli, the Denzel Washington post-apocalypse movie.
I actually like that.
That movie is awesome.
I love.
Yeah,
I really
so
enjoy that movie.
He's a good screenwriter. Yeah.
This was going to see Batman having to lead the Justice League against an alien invasion, since Superman has gone missing.
Then I need more information than that.
On
nothing-
setup, I don't know how I feel about. Hey, what if Batman had to do Superman's job?
Yeah.
And I like his screenwriting work, but this doesn't immediately sell me.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's only 8 issues, so maybe the trade weight.
If it was like a different Batman, it was it's Bruce, right? It's not Fox.
Bruce, yeah.
Okay, then I don't care.
And it's another black label Batman book because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Another one, huh?
I guess I sell.
But this one I think we're all pretty excited for. Aquaman Andromeda,
Yes.
written by Ram V, with art by Christian Ward.
Who I own an original page from upstairs from Swamp Thing.
It's going to be a psychological horror book that will see Aquaman deal with a structure at the spaceship graveyard, Point Nemo, that was not made by man.
I love it.
Cool.
So the
Alright.
the Aquaman line right now is one, the best it's ever been, but two, it's being run exclusively by people of color and LGBT people, and their whole line, Jackson is becoming a new Aquaman. I'm like, I gotta jump in at this line because I was reading Black Manta, but I sad stopped 3 issues in because pull this shit.
Yeah.
But man, Christian Ward is an insanely cool, trippy artist. So he's doing Swamp Thing stuff in Aquaman. I'm buying a book.
So yeah, it's really great because this is also the first Aquaman Black Label.
Oh.
So it's great to see that they're like,
Oh yeah.
let's do an Aquaman Black Label.
Oh.
We don't need to just constantly turn out these Batman Black
Yeah.
labels.
Oh, it's gonna be mature. Ooh, yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested
like
in
that.
this. I like Ram B a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Earth M. The Milestone universe is back.
Mhm.
It's going to be launching an imprint called Earth M. The Milestone universe will expand with a new line of comics under the Earth M imprint that will create new characters alongside the other Milestone characters. So Earth M will be all about new characters, new Milestone characters, whereas Milestone will be about Static and Icon and
Rocket and stuff. Yeah.
I
Rocket.
when you said Milestone, I was like, an Earth M. I'm like, hold up, where have I heard that before? It's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
Static Shock, got it.
Cool. I mean, those books seem to be doing pretty well. So cool.
Yeah, the first one will be called Duo, written by Greg Pak,
Ooh.
with art by Co Pham and Scott Hanna. It's going to be a 6-part limited series. It tells the story of two lovers merged into one body, which granted them powers, but also erased the boundaries between them.
Oh, okay. I like that idea.
Interesting idea.
Yeah, almost like a
Okay.
Firestorm kind of thing. Yeah.
Or Steven
But
Universe.
they're
Love it.
lovers.
Yeah, I thought that sounded pretty cool.
Sure, I like Greg Pak.
I think it's also going to be digital first. I forgot to write that down.
Okay.
Because the Milestone books, they have print versions, but they're digital first on.
Because
DC
yeah,
Universe.
I see those books on the shelves. There's later.
Yeah. Who read Marvel Mech Strike? One of us did, right?
Marvel. It wasn't Marvel Mech Strike. It was Marvel something else because that was the
Like
one where
Tech
they
something.
turned into. Yeah, it was that was the one where they turned into giant Gundams.
Yeah.
For them.
But Avengers Tech On was not that one.
But I read that.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
there's
there's
the one where they turned into Gundams.
There's another one.
Right, but it's different because they're not
Yeah.
necessarily in the Gundams.
So Marvel Mech Strike Monster Hunters will be written by Christus Gage with art by Paco Diaz.
Oh, he's good.
And so Jeb Wells, I believe, wrote the first
Zeb.
one. Zeb Wells.
Yeah,
thank you. And we'll see the Avengers having to transform into monster hunters by donning new mech armor to defeat Doctor Doom, who has been transformed by the Eye of the Kraken.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Dr. Doom, you say?
Dr. Doom.
Okay.
There's also going to be a pop line, a exclusive toy line,
Oh God.
and a
That's
separate motion
That's the
comic.
exact same thing they did for the Mech Strike. But the Mech
No,
Strike
I believe it.
was a fun story.
Okay.
But they did, yeah. I
It's
saw
just like the initial.
I saw the
wave.
pops and everything before I even saw the comic.
No, I saw the
being
pops too, and I'm
advertised
like,
about.
yo, Marvel Gundams, gimme.
I do like Doctor Doom being taken over by some Leviathan force of evil. So maybe we'll see.
And I did just add that to my library on Marvel Unlimited.
Which one?
Avengers Mech Strike.
Oh,
Avengers
okay,
Mech Strike, because it's Gundams, and I love that shit.
Marvel Unlimited, so good.
Yeah, I had pre-ordered the first volume from my store, but they didn't get it because the switch to Penguin screwed up their orders.
Quack quack.
Dang it.
Gundams notoriously hate Gundams, by the way.
What did you say?
Penguins notoriously hate Gundams.
I was like,
I goofed.
Did I?
Yeah,
I was like, what are you talking
Penguins
about?
hate
I
Gundams.
was processing it also. Yeah.
It's a deep joke.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, there's gonna be a separate motion comic attached to this as well.
Now I'm just imagining Oswald Cobblepot building his own mech mobile suit of a penguin to fight the Earth Federation.
Well, I mean, he kind of does that in Batman: Pride and Prejudice. That Penguin comic. He
That's
has
true.
He has a giant like like I
was
don't
it Pride and Prejudice? I thought that was a more subdued story.
know. I'm thinking of a bat armor. I don't know anymore. Let's move
And,
on.
yeah, let's move
moving
on.
to Transformers. As we know, IDW is losing the rights, so they're releasing Transformers:
Wrestling.
Last Bot Standing,
That's cute.
which will be written by Nick Roche, with art by E.J. Sweet.
Yep.
So weird.
This is going to be set at
Sorry.
the end of the universe and be about the last Cybertronian.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like the last Ronin is the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Sure,
Turtles
okay.
thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's that, but with Transformers. I think this sounds
The
pretty
thing we
cool.
did with
Does.
Turtles, let's do that with Transformers.
Yeah.
It works.
And vice versa. I mean, that's been IDW's bag.
They're gonna do the plot further along is like he finds himself, or the Cybertronian finds himself on a planet that is just beginning, but
Mhm.
like the heat death of the universe is coming. So it's
Do we think this is going to be an established character that's old and dying or something? I think
it's
it
probably
is.
Optimus Prime
I was thinking like it's
Prob-
Optimus or Bumblebee or something. Yeah, yeah.
or Ironhide. It
Hot
could be
Rod.
any of those old,
Hot Rod,
original
yeah.
ones.
Who's the most obscure bullshit one that nobody cares about?
Cup.
Cup.
Yeah.
It's
he's from
about Cup.
Are you serious?
or Hound.
No, Hound's cool.
Yeah, Hound.
He's
is
got a
like
cool
Hound.
beard.
John
Bushy beard.
John Goodman played Hound.
Yeah, yeah. That's all I remember.
in
about
wait,
a lot
in
of
which
people were in
one?
Transformers movies and don't remember it.
Which one?
4.
him. He's got the big beard.
Oh
No-
yeah. I was thinking like more Jeep Hound, but okay.
Um,
I was just saying Cup because he's the one who says Bob Wheat Grana Wheat Mini Bob.
Oh, about 8 minutes up.
all right.
I know what that. I get that.
Star Wars.
We've been known to talk about that.
This is a book, not a comic book.
Oh, well, I guess no.
Okay.
I don't want it then. No.
So, for Valentine's Day, it was announced that Star Wars: The Princess and the Scoundrel will be releasing soon. Written by Beth Revis. This is going to begin with Han proposing in the aftermath of the Battle of Endor. Then they will get married, and then they'll go honeymoon on the Halcyon Star Cruiser, the luxury vessel at the heart of the new Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser experience at Disney World Resort.
Live in hell.
Oh no.
We live in Star Wars hell.
That last bit I took from the article.
So the big reason
Synergy.
the big reason why I don't love this is because
Corporate.
I never thought Han and Leia got married.
Yeah, that's like such a
Like I guess it's not a problem that they did, but I just assumed they didn't.
Yeah.
I assumed that they just were together, and then when they weren't, they weren't. But
Yeah.
when they were together, they were together, and when they had their kids, they had their kids, and they were together. And then Han, I never
Disney
thought
can't have
I never
a
thought
child
that
out of
anybody
wedlock.
was like, I never thought that anybody
Yeah.
was ever talking to General Leia and being like, so where's your husband these days? Like, I just didn't think that they ever cared about doing that.
yeah.
They still
Because the thing is, like, outside of Anakin and Padme, weddings have never seemed important
Mhm.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And not even the concept of husband and wife has seemed important. Like, just people are together.
Yeah.
So the focus on this has always been weird to me because those are just two characters who my read on them from the original trilogy is that, and in the sequel trilogy, is that they don't really give a shit about that kind of label thing. I might be transferring too much of my own parents onto them,
No,
but like
no.
that they remind me of that kind of concept about thinking about those
Yeah.
kinds of things. Is that's how my parents were. My parents
I'm-
were not married until years after I was
Han
born.
Solo already got fake married.
Only
once.
for legal matters of like anything that would happen to them
Yeah.
in care of me. That was it.
even then in like the prequel or in the prequels, the sequel films, they still refer to her as General Organa. They don't refer to her as General Solo.
I would like
Mhm.
the Star Cruiser thing is really dumb. I would be okay with this if they didn't say like they were getting married.
So
There's like
there's-
after Endor, they go to spend some time together and then they conceive a baby.
There-
That's okay.
There's two things about this that are interesting to me. The fact that one that they and I'm going to answer my query with my second point, but the idea that they want to show the wedding of Han Solo and Leia, regardless of whether or not they have we believe they should have one, that they're showing it in a book, right? Nowhere else. This is a book, and like that feels interesting to me that they would put that what technically should be a monumental experience
Mhm.
For fans, not necessarily in the book, but it's probably because they worked backwards. Who can we get on this Star Cruiser to promote our hotel, and then they worked backwards to Han and
Probably.
Leia, who are the
I'm
most
gonna-
iconic.
You know what?
I got a thing in the mail a few months ago. That it
You got
was
invited to their wedding?
no, not invited to. I wish.
Didn't
But
you?
it's like those ad mailers that if you ever go to Disney World or stay in a Disney World hotel, they'll send you mailers and ads like come back to Walt Disney World. I'm like, yeah, give me money and I'll freaking go. I got one for the Star Cruiser. I'm like, hey, this looks cool. I'm not gonna even look at how much a freaking room is because I know they're gonna sell out like that,
$10,000.
or it's gonna be like that.
Yep.
At the same time, it's like A, I don't have the money to go. B, I don't have the time to go. And C,
So
I'm broke as all damn.
I don't
hell.
even.
It's
I don't
a
even.
4-day stay for $10,000.
I thought you were kidding.
No,
I'm
it's
not.
not even a thought in my. I've never even.
Well,
I've never given this thing more than 2 seconds
This
of
is
my
an
thoughts.
experience for the wealthy.
well,
Yeah.
F
You were
you,
gonna say
Disney.
something.
I'm never gonna be able to stay at that Star Cruiser then.
We actually have in the lore Han's positioning on marriage and that he doesn't really invest much in it because Han was married.
Yeah.
And that happened, and we addressed it in the comics when his wife showed up. So this just doesn't ring.
Well, it wasn't real marriage. That was the cover.
No, for sure. But like Han did acknowledge that he's like doesn't respect the concept of marriage very much. Like that's not important to him.
Yeah.
What's important to him is the person.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably because they were like, we need to get an iconic couple on the Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just one of those things where I'm like, if there's anything else to this story that means anything, then sure, I'll read
And I'm
it.
sure there will be.
Right, but
But
like
it's also,
but
like,
as it's presented
the
here, I'm like,
backdrop
this
of
all
the
just sounds
Titanic
like
in
shit that
space.
I never even thought happened in Star Wars, let alone
Which is in
needed.
our book club this week, isn't it?
What?
The Halcyon Star Cruiser.
No, that's the start. That's
No.
the Starlight Star.
The Starlight.
Oh, that's just
That's-
No. There's a. Because I looked through the comic. I recently looked through the comic and I projected
Gotcha.
Star Wars. Because there's a comic for the Halcyon Star Cruiser.
Okay.
Either
way,
the,
script-
the idea what I was trying to get at is like the fact that they were like, we need to do another marketing push for this hotel
Yeah.
and put it in this book. Like they
anybody who would read this book can afford that
Right.
trip.
Like
I mean, I
hell.
kind of felt the same way about when they made Galaxy's Edge comics, but like whatever, it's fine. But like this kind of feels more egregious to me.
Oh yeah.
It does. It does feel more agree. Like the Galaxy's, at least the Galaxy's Edge stuff came out after the land happened, and apparently those are actually not that bad.
I mean, this is after the hotel
This-
happened.
But yeah, again, it's definitely not as egregious because like the whole thing of like, oh, you're going to Batu, like a land in Star Wars,
Yeah.
and like it makes sense to go there into the universe in the comics or movies, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
this is it's a cruise ship,
Like it literally just said
It's
like
a hotel.
hotel. Sorry,
the
like
way
a
that it was
space
like,
hotel.
hey, it's the Halcyon Star
It's
Cruiser.
a hotel that is modeled after a fake Star Wars cruise ship.
Yeah, you're going on a
that they-
fake cruise ship hotel.
That they were
Uh,
like,
That-
we need to make a Star Wars experience.
This is
hotel.
more than I
Not
wanted
only-
to talk about.
Not only
this thing,
that,
y'all.
that
We gotta
majority
stop.
of the people who want to go can't because it's too gosh darn
Well,
expensive.
it's apparently very cheap to get on there if you're in the Star Wars universe.
True. Well, it's the tickets. Well, the money's different.
Oh, are we going
Alright.
to like cryptocurrency bullshit now?
Star Wars currency.
Credits. No, okay, I'm done with that. You guys done with that?
Yeah, I'm done with
Alright.
this.
Sparks, you didn't say anything.
I said everything I had to say, so I
All right.
assumed I didn't need to say more.
Paramount Plus had an event,
Oh yes, it did.
and I kind of want to go through some of the things that was announced at this event. For example,
Sure.
Halo was renewed for a second season
What?
That first season's real good.
before its first season drops.
Can't wait to watch the second season.
Yeah.
It's no Peacemaker or How I Met Your Father.
We haven't watched it yet. We don't
That's
know.
true. That's
No.
true. I this is
I
bold.
didn't like the Peacemaker trailers before Peacemaker. Everything could be good.
This is bold.
True.
Mm-hmm.
They must think they have something really good on their hands.
Yeah.
And it was also revealed, but at a different event, that he will take off his helmet during the series.
That's why they got an actor.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. The only reason why he doesn't take his helmet off in the first film is because in the first game is because it wouldn't look like a person.
I mean,
The polygons were.
I mean, there's-
updated
yes,
back
but there's
then.
plenty of other people who are main characters in the show.
Ryan, question. What's
Hey.
the name of the sergeant? The guy-
Johnson,
Johnson.
He's cool. I like that guy.
Yeah. Me
not in the
too.
show.
He dies in the first game and then shows up again in the second game.
He dies in the first game.
Yeah, we don't talk
Yeah.
about it. It's solved in a book.
It's the legendary ending when he's fighting an elite and then the explosion starts happening. It's like, hold me.
Yeah, but see, if
And
you
then
read
they hug.
if you read the Flood books, he's actually like slightly like a super agent because like he got like stuck with like radioactive particles and shit. So like he's actually like a super person.
Oh, that's
The
right.
books, he's Johnson's weird, y'all.
Yeah.
But
weird
he's
guy.
a badass, and I,
I mean,
like
he
him.
is, yeah.
He hugged an elite.
That's right. He did.
No, that's
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 a
the
secret ending.
legendary ending that I just told you about
Secret
just like 2 seconds ago.
Secret ending.
So, well, when you were
first
talking to
second
me, it finally came up in my brain. Took a bit.
Transformers
7.
had a bit. So Rise of the Beast is happening.
Okay.
Now here's something that's not quite clear. They either said
I agree with your read. I think everybody else is reading it wrong.
so. They either said Transformers: Rise of the Beast will be the first of a trilogy of films,
Mm-hmm.
or it is the first in 3 upcoming installments of Transformers, because they also named a new show coming out in the fall on Nickelodeon,
Mhm.
and then a CG anime film coming out after Rise of the Beast in 2024.
Right, and they didn't separate those concepts when they in the way that they said it.
Right.
So like it sounds like it's the first of 3 installments we're coming out with. Like
Here's
there
the
was
3
nothing to
installments.
make them sound like they were separated.
Yeah.
So I don't assume, like if they were saying it's the first in a trilogy, they would just say it's the first in a trilogy. I don't know
Yeah.
why they would say it the way they said it and describe it as installments and then describe 2 other installments in the Transformers. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Either way, I'm excited for Rise of the Beast still.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting that there'll be a new animated show and CG show.
I like
Ron
Mon-
Perlman's
yeah.
still Optimus Primal. I'm looking forward to that.
I like monkey robots.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
A 3rd film is in production.
That movie must be good.
Oh, and yeah,
They greenlit this before the second movie came out,
Yeah.
unlike the last one.
yeah.
yeah. Which
Um,
well, okay, if that means if there's like a killer cliffhanger ending at the end of this second one,
Like a puddle.
yep, like a puddle,
So what is the significance of this puddle?
chaos.
Chaos.
It rains. Chaos rains.
Okay.
So I fully believe. Say the next part of the news.
Yeah.
So Idris Elba is going to be doing a Knuckles TV series spinoff.
It would surprise me, but not 100% surprise me. But it would surprise me if they didn't decide to go the route of exploring like the echidnas through Knuckles
Do you
and
think
their
we'll get the-
relationship with.
Do you think
Yeah.
we'll get the floating island?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
hell
I think
yeah.
we'll get that. I think we'll get to call.
Mhm.
To call right.
To call,
Yeah. To call. And her
The
history with
the Knuckles clan, yeah.
the Knuckles clan and Chaos. And that would be an easy way to build a history for Chaos to be in the 3rd film.
And Chaos, for those who don't know, is the main antagonist of Sonic Adventure, the first one.
And has a history with the echidnas.
That's very cool that they're doing this Knuckles TV series.
I'm all about it.
Me too.
Idris Elba likes doing it. It's Peacemaker, right?
Yeah.
It's the Peacemaker of the Sonic universe.
That's really good. Yeah.
I never thought we'd be at this point where I'm like, yeah, give me my Knuckles live action series to bridge me between Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. But here we
Mhm.
are, and I'm like, wow, I guess are the Sonic adaptations going to be the best of video games movies? I guess.
Right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but this makes me happy. But at the same time, I really hope that also part of me that the writers go because Knuckles did have a comic line next to Sonic, like his own standalone
Yes, I
book.
thought of this too.
So I hope that they kind of dive into that while not trying to go into murky waters, because unfortunately the original writer Ken Penders was in a huge lawsuit with Archie, which kind of nixed a lot of the Knuckles characters that a lot of fans came to know and love over the years.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, that sucked. But besides that, there's some good shit in those books, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward if they take some snippets from the Knuckles series and put it into
You're
the
really
show.
playing nice with some of that Penders controversy right there, aren't you?
They're playing very nice.
Grayson Live in the chat says Knuckles over Sonic. I'll wait for Ben to cool off.
You're wrong.
I mean,
Sonic all day.
I've no fight in this race, but if I put them next to each other, I'm picking Idris Elba.
I mean, that's the thing is like I feel differently when it's Idris Elba as Knuckles than I do any other time that we're talking about just Knuckles.
Yeah.
I also want to say Mag is here. Hello, Mag.
Hey, Mag.
He said his first comment. Capcom announced Capcom Fighting Collection and SF6.
Yes, Bag, we've been busy
What?
today. Yeah,
What?
yeah, Bag,
What?
we can't talk. We missed news. We'll talk about it next week. Yes.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. There was a Capcom event. They announced some stuff. We'll talk about it later.
Yes, I'm real stoked that they have this faith in Sonic enough.
Yeah.
This is
Me
only
too.
points to good things. I'm getting very hyped for that new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me. Oh god, the hype couldn't be even more. And you just got me an encyclopedia. Guess what I'm gonna be reading tonight? But besides that,
Porn magazine.
I'm no.
Hey, one man's encyclopedia is another man's porn magazine.
Oh god, no.
Gotta
don't
go
wanna
fast,
meet
man.
that man.
Gotta go
As
fast.
I was, you took something pure. You took something pure and wholesome and good, and you just
It's my
perverted it.
job, baby.
Man, this has really devolved into chaos.
Okay.
Ah,
Moving on, Ben. I'm sorry.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to April 8th. It's gonna be a good day.
A Quiet Place. We've been speculating a lot about Michael Sarnowski's Quiet Place film, it is confirmed to be a spin-off because part 3 is officially in development and will be released in 2025.
Oh, 3 years away.
Don't know how I feel about that one.
Me
Don't care at
neither.
the moment.
Yeah,
Definitely am more interested in spin-off stories than continuing anything with
Yeah,
that.
I'll see what that game's
group.
about first.
yeah. So yeah, get ready for more.
More fingers.
How-
fingers
how-
going, shh.
How is Quiet Place Part 3 anything but more of Part 2?
Right, exactly.
The only thing I could see that they do like a 28 days later thing where they do like years in the future and then like
And they've already
adapt
But they
to
cured
wouldn't.
it.
But they wouldn't want to recast the girl.
I don't know. Yeah.
So like,
The
yeah.
only thing that like I personally like, as good as those characters are, I don't care about watching them for a third time unless something drastic changes.
You kind of have to go years in the future because Part 2 was like same week,
Yeah,
and like they're
Now
gonna be
they're-
older, so that you're gonna have to time jump. But like,
Yeah.
much
what?
older.
5 years later.
But how is the plot anything besides we know how to kill them now? Here's a place
Wait,
where we
whoa,
can
whoa.
teach you how to
I
kill
got
them.
it, you guys. So new aliens come and they have to develop
Oh, no.
sound cannons.
Ooh.
If you listen to our original Quiet Place
Yes,
2 review,
absolutely.
We were right though.
the sound can no, actually no, you're right. They did do some type of
They
sound
did do
cannon.
But now a proper
No,
cannon.
real
No,
ca- yeah.
proper canon.
Like
Right.
those like in the Incredible Hulk, those giant machines.
I like your analogy. for
Make the
Quiet-
sound cannon.
There you go.
I like your analogy for not a quiet place. Jesus, 28 days later, 28 weeks later.
There you go.
Like they've adapted. They live in a world post that.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
Ah!
Thought we'd bring this one up. 3 new character-driven movies are coming exclusively to Paramount Plus,
Jesus Christ.
and a big theatrical tentpole is in the works.
Wait, did that last one come out?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Paramount
Yeah,
Plus.
yeah.
Did
that
we
was-
see
We,
Yeah.
we know
No,
we
we
missed
never
it
did.
all because of the pandemic.
Got it. Okay.
And also didn't the latest one went to straight to
Paramount
Plus?
Plus.
Yeah, it didn't.
It still went to theaters.
Oh, it did.
Yes.
It was
Hmm.
probably a hybrid release.
Probably was.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So lots of SpongeBob, guys.
yeah.
I mean,
I want to watch that movie. I haven't had any reason to go back to the shows.
You don't want to watch the Sandy Cheeks movie?
the Patrick Star show.
No.
That's a
I
character,
I
right?
love Sandy Cheeks, but I
Yes.
don't want to watch a movie all about her.
Nope.
Sorry.
Well, you're getting one.
I don't-
not
I
confirmed.
left Texas a long time ago.
But maybe
Sorry,
it'll,
Sandy.
Maybe it'll be Sandy, and then a Mr. Krabs movie, and then
A Squidward movie.
a Squidward movie.
Pearl.
Because they got the Patrick show.
Yeah,
They're not gonna do Patrick.
it's got to be about Squiddy.
Man. I feel
Whatever.
That's
it's weird. Old SpongeBob. I feel like one of those like an old man is like, yeah, SpongeBob ain't like what it used to be. Like
well,
the
it's
old-
not.
SpongeBob.
it couldn't
it's,
be.
It's The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It's the new Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As we know, the Seth Rogen animated film is coming.
Uh,
We also now know that Jeff Rowe, who was the co-director of The Mitchells vs. the Machines,
Sweet.
is directing the film.
And now
Oh.
Brandon's invested.
Very much so.
Yep.
Because they released concept art and it looks very unique and very not necessarily like Mitchells vs. the Machines, but like definitely using that 2D, 3D hybrid.
Mhm.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm pretty interested in this.
I was already, but like getting like a great director like just solidifies like sweet.
You
I
had
mean,
me
so-
at Seth Rogen.
You had me at the director of Mitchell's versus Machines. And
Me
also,
too.
Yes,
And
they had
also-
you later.
But
Yeah.
also, like when he said Ninja Turtles, my mind went to Shredder's Revenge, which is coming out later this year. I'm like, still can't wait for that.
That
Well, we're
is
playing
true.
it, baby.
Hell yeah, we are.
What's Marty's name?
Marty. It's just
Adoni-
Marty.
Adoni Zedek.
Adoni Zedek and the Chet Hello Marty.
You could just say Marty.
When did you guys get sponsored by Jack in the Box? Oops. All right, never mind. We're
Today.
not.
Let me just eat this double patty melt.
You're right. It matters that they see Jack in the Box because we're being paid.
we were like I was watching this Family Guy clip and it's Quagmire getting upset at everyone for saying the off-brand versions of famous fast food restaurants because they don't pay the licensing fees. And like Quagmire's like, everyone knows what we're saying. Why can't we just say McDonald's? But it's like, let's go get a Big Mac at McDingle's or some whatever.
McBongles.
Thought that was pretty funny. All right, Blue's Clues.
Oh, Blue's
I
Clues.
wouldn't have put this in the news normally, but Blue's Clues is getting its own version of No Way Home.
Blues Clues. Some way home.
Wait, No Way Home. Oh, as in like
the
Spider-Man
three-
No Way Home?
The three
Yeah.
leads
Yeah.
of all of the 3 Blues Clues shows
Yeah.
are going to unite for a movie called Blues Big City Adventure.
Yep. So you got Steve, and you got the other guy, and you got the new guy.
Steve, Joe, and the other dude.
The new guy. His name's the new guy.
No,
It's a weird name.
no, don't
the
do
new
that
guy.
to him.
Well,
Don't do
You
that
don't
to
know
him.
his name.
you know
Oh,
what?
you're right.
Yeah. Okay. There we
Then
go.
you're right.
Yeah. There
You,
we go.
you know what? Good for them.
The popularity of of these two coming back.
Bop, bop.
For like the anniversary of that, and like
Mhm.
Steve telling us, like telling my generation, like our generation, like we're so proud of you guys. Like that's like a cultural moment for us.
People were crying of that from that video for over a month.
Listen, our generation is going through a lot. All right.
Yeah, we
That's
need.
true.
Like I remember watching this. Like I know this is being seen by millions of people, but it hit me right here
And so now
because I
we
grew
get,
up with that shit.
Yeah.
now we get a feature length version of that.
Will I watch it? No.
Probably not.
But
You know
is it
what?
cool?
You know
Yes.
what? You know what? I might, because Zara really likes Blue's Clues.
You know what? If
I
it goes
might
on,
when I have children.
There you go.
me too. Or if it goes on Paramount
See
Plus.
that-
20 years
see-
later.
See this bald guy? That's my generation. This is Blues guy.
They'll have another new one by then.
Blues Cluer.
No.
Whatever.
Nope.
The bluer clue.
No, they're changing it to green now.
All right.
We just talked about
Dora the Explorer.
Man, it's a what
more Nick Jr.
more stuff I'm not gonna watch.
More Nick Jr. stuff.
Well, wait. There's a reason. So first off, there's a new junior animated show. Whatever. Cool. Yay. You get some shows, kids. But a new live action series is in the works with the same spirit. They said, quote, as the live action film,
Cool.
which ruled.
Cool.
That's cool if it's got the same spirit. Does it have the same cast and creative team? Because if it doesn't,
Yeah. They didn't say. I hope so, because I really like that movie.
I really doubt they'll get them back.
Yeah.
You
For
know
a
what?
show, I doubt it.
the girl who plays Dora is like one of like the youngest, like most like she's super like hot right now. I don't think she's gonna come back for a
No, I don't
Dora
think
the
she
TV
will.
show.
I don't think she will.
She's
either.
like doing big time stuff.
Hey guys,
They-
if
they
you haven't
missed-
seen the Dora and the Lost City of Gold, check it out. It honestly rips.
it's
Mm.
true. It's a surprisingly good film.
Paramount Plus.
They missed
maybe.
the boat to follow up on that.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, Danny Trejo.
Would have liked to.
It's cool that they want to be in the same spirit. We'll see how that actually turns out.
I hope it is. What I want, because
Yeah.
I watch more of that. I like that movie a lot.
Like you could change the cast, but if that creative team ain't there, I have no faith.
Teen Wolf.
Oh,
yeah.
what a
I
story!
knew we were coming to this.
I did, yeah.
All right.
Time to put this wolf to bed.
Mixed feelings.
So the new movie will set up a new Paramount Plus original series called Wolfpack, which
we already knew.
We did. Everyone is returning except for Dylan O'Brien, Tyler Hoechlin, Superman,
Hoagland.
and Arden Cho. Now Arden Cho declined the offer because she was given far less than the other returning actors.
Specifically the 4 female co-stars who were all getting much higher pay
Yeah.
than she was
Yes.
for the return.
So she said, "I'm not gonna."
One
do it
of
for
those
that."
other female co-stars who's returning, her character died. So this is a blow.
Yeah, but this is a
Yes.
supernatural show, so
No, I mean like they could bring her back, but the fact that like they're paying her more to come back and play a character that's
Yeah,
dead
yeah.
and has been dead for a while, and not willing to match that pay for Arden Cho doesn't look good. All those other co-stars are white. Also,
And it looks like
of
Dylan
course.
O'Brien didn't go. It sounds like Dylan O'Brien didn't come back because of this reason, but he's also
It's-
really big right now.
it's not clear why Dylan O'Brien isn't coming back, and that's fine. I'm not
Tyler
surprised.
Hoechlin makes sense because he's got CW.
Tyler
show.
Hoechlin hasn't officially declined.
Oh, okay.
So that's in the he hasn't been announced either. So there's no clear window on if he is coming back or not. I'm
They're-
assuming not
they're talking
because he's busy, but he didn't officially say no.
They're also casting an Asian lead character, offering less than they offered Arden Cho.
I don't know anything about
I
that.
saw-
don't
yeah,
know
I
about
saw
that,
the
but
po-
I believe it.
I saw like the post of like how much like they're offering for like the salary, and it is like I've never seen something so low in my life for
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
wages.
And this is
It's
the movie.
crazy. Oh, it's a movie.
This is the movie.
Oh, even worse.
Real
That's
quickly,
horrible.
I do want to acknowledge the chat real quickly. Grayson Live makes a joke about Dora the Explorer, Drake's Fortune. We've got 3 other scripts too.
Yeah, Uncharted. Sorry, Uncharted.
Yeah, and it's not as good as Uncharted, but it's not like that. Watch it, Grayson. Sam Sullivan in the chat, hello, says Blue's Clues' name is Josh, Steve, Joe, and Josh. So
It's a Josh sandwich.
so yeah, Josh, Steve. I think it's
Josh D. Joe.
Yeah. All right.
All J's except for Steve.
And then I almost forgot to ask: is it true that Futurama's coming back? Watch our last episode.
Yes, it is true, but without Bender.
But yes,
At moment, not Bender.
extras.
Yeah, I sorry, we were still on Team Wolf.
Yeah, sorry.
And as the person who watched it, I'm still excited because so much of what was great about Team Wolf is coming back. This sucks though. It's an unfortunate.
It puts a black cloud over it.
It really does. It really like killed my buzz about it. in a pretty big way that this is what happened to Arden Cho, especially her being a character I really liked.
Yeah.
Minor spoilers, she's essentially a Ninetales on that show. She's really cool.
Jamie Chung.
Yeah, very,
Lovecraft,
but
yeah.
but different. But like I really liked her.
Oh wait, are you telling me the tails don't come out of her nose?
Sexually.
No.
Watch Lovecraft Country, man.
Wait, what?
Watch Lovecraft Country.
Yeah,
there
for
you
sure.
go. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
so
I
this puts like a damper on it, but I'm still like I want to go back though. So this is a big disappointment. I'm really disappointed that they couldn't like pony it up and meet her
Wolf
where
it
she
up?
should have been at.
Sparks, you just want to go howl at the moon, don't you?
I really like Teen Wolf, guys. It's
I mean,
really
hey,
good.
I mean,
really
hey,
glad for you.
I mean, for these guys, Bad Moon's Rising.
Okay. They also announced a Grease prequel, and a
You got
Beavis and Butthead movie. And
I
sequel
got it. I
series.
just didn't like it.
Yeah, don't acknowledge it. A Grease prequel. What's it called? Oil Slick.
Rise of the Queens or whatever. I forgot the full title.
Oh, really?
Rise
Grease
Rise of the Pink Girls.
I don't care.
The mean clique
Oh, gotcha.
in Grease. What?
Pink
the Pink
ladies.
Ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. The Rise of the Pink Ladies.
I'm okay.
Gonna be updated.
Yeah, I'm
New
okay.
songs and dance numbers.
Yeah, I'm okay.
And Beavis and Butthead is coming back with a sequel movie and then a TV series after that.
That is cool. The last revival of Beavis and Butthead like a decade ago was fine. So like I'm indifferent.
Yeah.
Isn't the guy who created King of the Hill the same guy who created Beavis and Butthead?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Mike Judge
Hmm.
and Idiocracy and all that stuff. And King of
And-
the Hill's coming back, and he's
And Idiocracy?
Yeah, he's
Hmm.
a brilliant guy.
Damn,
Yeah.
okay.
Moon Knight news.
Moon Knight.
Yeah. What?
Speaking of moons.
What?
F. Murray Abraham has been announced as the voice of Khonshu.
That's awesome. He's an Amadeus.
Yeah.
That's the movie I know him from.
Do I dare?
God, that's awesome. He's
Yeah.
got a great. He's super old now, so that's really good.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Really excited for that. Peacemaker. I feel like we already talked about Peacemaker.
We did. We talked to him about
Not
it.
according to them yet.
Nope.
Okay, it's been renewed for season 2.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
James Gunn will continue to write every episode and will supposedly direct every episode this time around.
Nice.
And he also said that I also want to throw this in there is that after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, he'll focus more on TV.
He really liked making a TV
Really
show.
liked making a TV
that
show.
makes
so he wants
sense.
to do
That's
that again.
awesome. I love that.
Also, it didn't get declared in the same way, but the head of HBO Max did confirm that there is another spinoff from the Suicide Squad
Yes.
in development
Yes.
Okay then.
with Gunn.
For more of our thoughts,
Check the
out
future.
our Fake News Watch coming out soon.
Coming out soon.
Future.
We were all really hot on that show.
Very hot.
It's
on
our
that show.
past, but your future.
Do. Wait, why am I doing the X-Files theme song?
I don't know.
Is that what you were doing?
I was trying
Because that
to.
sounded like that was about to be Stranger Things.
I thought it was gonna be Seinfeld.
Well, no, because the X Files does start with do 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 do.
What?
Oh, he was just a do-do-do-do-do. Oh yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Of.
You
I
were
was-
right.
I was-
Ben, you were right.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was
you
gonna
right.
do.
No, you're right. You're right.
I
It's
mean,
also the
so the Stranger Things is.
No, he's right because the opening of the X
That
Files starts
sounds
with
like-
do 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 do
That
do do.
sounds like Seinfeld.
There was the piano that sounds similar to Stranger Things, but it was before Stranger Things. Take that, people who made Stranger Things.
Screw you, Stranger Things.
Yeah,
I love the
bros.
Stranger.
Oh, is that in our news?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oh shit, it is.
Mag says Silicon Valley is also Mike Judge.
Yeah, that dude's so good. He's so smart. That show rules.
All right.
Hell yeah.
All right, Wonder Twins. We love the Wonder Twins here at the Fake Nerd Podcast.
Bye.
They're
Shape of Water.
A bucket of water.
they are getting a movie written and directed by Adam. That's not a word you want to read high. Satykiel. Szytyikel.
Sure.
Ezekiel?
Ezekiel. Sure.
All right. Who wrote Black Adam? Didn't direct it, wrote it.
Okay.
So yeah, he's doing Wonder Twins.
I mean, earlier we were talking. Okay, little bit of insight into our Peacemaker talk, but earlier we were saying that if someone's passionate about something, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Whereas the Wonder Twins might not be something I would draw for, but if someone out there is passionate about the Wonder Twins, go for it.
Anything can be good.
It's true. I mean, hell, we
It's
were
just
like on Peacemaker
interesting.
before, and then it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, but it's just interesting that like this is the next project after Black Adam.
After Black
Adam.
Adam.
After
yeah.
Black Adam, yeah.
My sense, like what you do with Wonder Twins, is something really silly, like Challenges of the Unknown from
Yeah.
The Teen Titans Go
Teen
movie.
Titans Go. Yeah. That's where my head goes. Something incredibly silly. with the Wonder Twins and like make it like a fun comedy thing. But like,
Strangely enough, the only time they were ever cool was Smallville.
That's true.
Yeah, the one episode stint in Smallville.
Oh yeah.
oh my
real
god,
cool.
that's
Well, look, one of them turned into a dinosaur.
It did.
Ooh.
Ooh, I know.
Do tell.
how does that CGI hold up?
Not
good.
well, probably.
Probably
All
not
right.
good. There's something else I was gonna say about the
Was
one.
they?
I was gonna say that some of DC's more like not off-putting, but like out there stuff
Mhm.
has been some of their better works.
Yeah, like Doom Patrol. No, you're right. Yeah.
like
yeah,
how many Casey Casuals know Doom Patrol? Not a lot. How many Casey Casuals know Peacemaker before the Suicide Squad? Not a lot.
I would say people know of Peacemaker even less than Doom Patrol.
Exactly. So if a Wonder Twins movie is coming out by the same guy who did Black Adam, and if Black Adam is really, really good, then I have faith in it.
It is again just like they seem like very different properties.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Here's
but
the
once
thing.
again, we
Here's
haven't
the
seen
thing.
Black Adam.
Honestly, from my perspective, even if it's good, don't know how much interest I have in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it could be good and just also not be for me.
No, sure. But
True.
again, Peacemaker made me go like, I
Yeah.
I gotta
No,
wait.
I'm not shitting on it.
Mhm.
I'm just saying like I don't even know if I have the interest if it's like it'd have to be pretty great to like pass like I don't really have an interest in the Wonder Twins even when they're done well.
I see. I'm more open-minded than that.
I'm kind of sparse because I also really don't care about the Wonder
I
Twins
don't give a
lot.
shit at all. But if that movie's good, I'm gonna go see it and support it and
All right.
yell for the clouds for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi was in the news this week as it was revealed that John Williams has composed a theme
What?
for the show, much like he did with Han Solo's theme for Solo: A Star Wars Story. Just one song, and then John Powell does his
Mhm.
his
Does
thing
the
around
rest.
that,
Han Solo's theme.
and so it's the same thing with like now he's doing that for Obi-Wan,
Okay.
giving him a theme for the show that the composer will work around.
Okay.
I don't. Can anyone do Han Solo's theme?
Yeah, that is it.
I watched Solo kind of when I was going to sleep recently.
Yeah,
Okay. Sure, that's cool. Like John Williams is the goat, so that's
He is.
it's
that's
nice
cool.
that he's kind of like coming back for the characters that he's already scored.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's going to go back to like the Mandalorian,
It's
but
not like
he'll do like an Obi-Wan or a Solo.
Yeah,
it's not like him coming. I mean, the dude's how many times has the dude retired and come out of retirement for a movie?
And this isn't even coming out of retirement. It's just composing a song.
Yeah, and it's only just one of the
a
songs.
jingle.
And
Watch, it's gonna be like
Star Wars jingle.
I mean,
that's his next album, Star Wars Jingles.
I'd buy it.
Boba
That
Fett.
entire movie. Oh god, that
All right.
theme's so
Mando.
good.
I do like Ludwig's Boba Fett theme.
It is
a
really
lot.
good. Wait, who did he also do the Mandalorian theme?
Yeah, Ludwig Göransson is the composer for the Mandalorian. He is not the composer for Book of Boba Fett.
But
he
he did do
just he just did the theme.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Huh.
That.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, he wrote that one.
Dun, 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 dun.
And the one from Mandalorian. Anyway, doesn't matter. Parker. We did a book club a while back about Richard Stark's Parker.
Mhm.
If you guys recall, there was adapted by Darwin Cook into a comic book. Well, it's getting another movie adaptation. This is not the first movie adaptation.
Yep.
Jason Statham had one. Shane Black will be doing this one, and Robert Downey Jr. will play the lead. He will also produce it.
Happy to watch those two get back.
Me
Absolutely.
too.
Kiss,
They-
kiss, bang, bang me all day long.
They
Iron Man
work-
3.
Yeah.
They work so well together. I am glad this is happening, and it's a good property for Downey at this point.
Sure.
I think, and it's right up Shane Black's alley.
Yeah, does the private detective
Yeah.
doing this thing. Absolutely. That's what he
Did
makes.
any of you ever watch Downey Jr. singing Detective?
I haven't yet, but I own it. I've been
It's-
meaning to.
Pretty good. It's weird,
Yeah.
but it's
heard.
it's solid.
Yeah, I'm happy that this is happening. I liked Parker a lot. Darwin Cook's adaptation was really good. And then Shane Black is a great director.
Absolutely. Sorry, Statham.
Fallout.
Oh baby, this is the best news.
Walton Goggins has been cast as the lead in the Fallout
Wally Gogs.
Well,
TV show.
Now
TV show.
I want to
TV
watch
show.
it.
I heard it's called
TV show.
Fallout TV.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, like Fallout is just it's a cool like post-apocalyptic like retro sci-fi world to live in. Wally Gogs is a great character actor,
He
and
is.
have him be the lead of the show makes it infinitely more exciting for me. I'm pretty sure that this is also done by the people who made Westworld.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so like I am so effing on board for this show. Oh my god,
What thing is this coming on? HBO.
Amazon.
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, Amazon.
Ooh, it's gonna be.
So they got the
violent.
money for it. Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be violent as hell.
I'm so excited for this.
But I haven't played the Fallout games, but I'll probably watch it just for Walter.
He'll
Wally
definitely be a dude. who gets frozen and wakes up like 400 years in the future and like, wow, I'm in the apocalypse. This is awful. And it's gonna be it's really fun because the Fallout games have a really dark sense of humor. Like it's apocalyptic, but it's also really funny. So I'm curious if it's gonna be like tongue in cheek, like not like Westworld, because Westworld's very serious. That'd be great. I'm very excited for
I mean,
this.
they're not writing it; they're just executive producing it. So it's got a different pair of writers on it.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
Ooh,
And that's how the show ends.
that
That was all over my laptop.
Ow.
Real quickly, live stream is still going. We're still good.
okay.
Beautiful.
Phew.
All right.
Cats.
Cats.
Cats be cats.
Stranger Things. Moving from Amazon Prime to Netflix. Stranger Things season 4
Mm-hmm.
is coming. They released some posters for it.
Mm-hmm.
Season 4 will be coming, and it's broken up into 2 parts this time around.
Oh,
Volume 1 will be on May 27th, and then Volume 2 will be July 1st.
okay.
And it's the same amount of episodes?
6, I think.
6 each, or
I think that's what they said. Yeah,
okay.
it was an up round number like that.
Okay. I'm ready. I want more Stranger Things.
Me too.
It's very interesting. They're trying a different model for it.
Yeah, I guess this has to do with like they're just not going to be ready to. They're not done editing the last half. Like gives them the extra time while also putting out a show.
I guess you can just wait a couple weeks and just finish it all at once. But who am I to say how you do your job?
Right. And then season 5, it was announced that season 5 will be the end of the show.
Cool. When all the kids are 25 years old.
They're getting very old.
They
And
are.
It shocked me that like it's been going for 7 years and there isn't even 4 seasons yet.
No.
No,
Yeah. Well,
it's
long breaks between. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
please pardon the pun, but it's strange that the show has been in the cultural zeitgeist for that long.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are Stranger Things.
God damn
See,
it.
that one was better.
All
right. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm glad that they have an end date set.
Me too.
And also-
Honestly, like I want Stranger Things to kind of come to a solid conclusion. I don't want it to kind of whimper
Just
out.
meander. Yeah.
I mean, actually, yeah, because man, that show was
I like that
It
show.
is.
I want that show to end well,
Yeah.
too.
and I've been getting gradually and progressively nervous it won't.
Yes.
Well, I remember like we were hot on season 3 and season 2 was not the same.
Right.
Season 3 was good. So I
Yeah, yeah.
hope. Yeah. So
yeah,
let's
exactly.
keep up the momentum.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I am glad. I always feel better with something like this where it's like, yeah, we got an end in sight now.
Mhm.
And I'm like, cool, we're working towards that and hopefully it'll be solid.
Yeah.
One of the few Netflix shows to get past the season 2. Good for you.
Yeah.
BioShock.
Oh boy.
Somewhere Gore Verbinski is
Man, this is
really hype.
this is one of those situations where I want you to read the news
Netflix is going to produce a film adaptation of BioShock.
and there's no writer, director, or anything attached. Just like
No.
we're making it. Gore Verbinski was attached to make BioShock for years, and he was like, "Listen, I need this to be a really expensive rated R movie because that's to make this movie right. It has to be rated R and it has to be expensive because it's an underwater city dealing with like genetic splicing and like big daddies and like giant like mech suits and like little DNA monsters. Like, BioShock is so scary and so cool. The fact that it's happening like on Netflix, like if this doesn't have a stellar creative team, then like I am just not convinced.
100%.
This is a game that is like one of the greatest games of all time, like one of the greatest stories. Like this is like above the regular game. Like this is something that like Gore Verbinski needs to make. If it's like we got the people who made Cowboy Bebop, we're gonna be like, wow, not
We got the
interested.
team from Red Notice.
Fuck you, bro. No way.
He's already doing another Netflix
Hard.
movie.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Like honestly, like Gore Verbinski, like I don't know what that dude's doing right now. He made A Cure for Wellness like 5 years ago.
He's not making another Pirates movie.
And he's
that's
not
for
making
sure.
another Pirate. So like I pray that they try to get him or he's even still interested in making it because it's like Guillermo del Toro making The Hobbit. He was invested into it and then it
Yeah.
got taken away. So like this is such good news, but could also like BioShock is too good for Netflix.
Time to start that prayer circle,
Yeah,
everyone.
my prayer beads are being ordered on Amazon.
Trailers.
Oh, we're going to the park.
We are.
Trailer park.
The Boys presents Diabolical.
I
I'm conflicted.
need to see. I guess I just need to see an episode because for me, like it's just still feels just like flashy violence for violence's sake.
Yeah.
A way that like, Boys just isn't, and I don't know that it will be more than that.
And the thing
This feels like the Garth Ennis comics. Garth Ennis
Yes,
wrote the
yeah,
Boys,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It feels like his comics at its worst.
Yes.
Just adapted for the screen, and I'm like, I don't
So,
like those comics.
Yes. So now that we have a bigger picture and it is like, like an anthology, like an Animatrix or Star Wars Visions or whatever, they are just going to be, instead of it being like cool stories in the world, it just looks like, hey, here's a violent story about superheroes and like, but it's only going to be 5 minutes long. it's gonna be like an anthology of just violence, and like I just don't know if I'm interested. Like even if they have like a nice little moral like compass to the story, I don't know if I want micro-sized boys episodes. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I love the show, The Boys, but at the same time, it's like I don't like that world.
There is one story in there where it's like become the better you. And
the guy who
people like taking the drugs and shit, and I'm like, okay, there's something.
That's
here.
the one that
there's
I
something that feels almost animatrixy here.
Yes,
but then you get the laser eye baby, and it's just like blowing people's heads
and
off.
Homelander just like,
so
I'm actually crazy.
Laser Eye Baby is the only one where the violence isn't necessarily bothering me, because that feels like a Animaniacs R-rated
Sure.
animation style, and I'm like, if it's just that one that's like that, okay. But I want everything else to have the kind of story depth that it looks like the one about the person taking the stuff to make themselves the better version. I want that kind of thoughtfulness, and I'm just not convinced that most of these are going to do that.
I'm not writing it off entirely, but like if the reviews are good, I'll probably give it a shot. But right now, I'm like, I just don't know.
None of the trailers have convinced me that this isn't slightly diluting the brand.
Yeah, I will say it is nice that like a lot of them are doing different animation styles for each one.
Yeah,
like it is different
100%.
studios, so like they're doing the animatrix thing. That is cool instead of it just being one style. So that is a nice thing at least.
Yeah, but I'm probably just gonna either just pass on it or just I'll watch it if everyone says, "Yo, this is really good. You should watch it."
Yeah, review season. Yeah.
But besides that, it's like I'm good with just The Boys by itself.
Wait for season 3.
Yeah, I'll just wait for season 3.
Coming soon.
I hope so. I want it.
I'll probably just wait for
I
that.
want to taste it.
Give me that Soldier Boy.
Really, I just want Vox Machina season 2 more. But that's
bro, it just ended.
I know it
Come
just
on,
ended.
that's so
But
mean.
I
Jesus,
know.
calm
I
down.
know.
It took 3 years to animate that thing.
Go finish Kill a Kill. Brandon.
Ben, when I saw Arcane, I was like, yeah, take 6 years. I don't care how long.
All right.
And you're just like, yeah, you took 12 years to make this. Screw you.
God.
Give me it now.
You brought up art.
Right. All right. Constantine, the House of Mystery.
Oh yeah, this is a short, but it's a damn interesting looking.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like without the cool element that I'll bring up, I'd be like, yeah, this looks like a cool thing that I probably won't end up watching. But it ends up, this is a sequel to the last like canon big JLA like crossover,
Justice
like
League Dark Apocalypse
War, which is like the end of like the MCU.
The Dakamu.
Justice League thing.
That's what we call it. The Dakamu.
The Dukamu.
The
yeah.
end of the previous existence of the universe.
Yeah,
It
so, like,
reset.
So this is them like acknowledging the reset of the universe, and like that's really cool.
And they haven't done that in the current timeline of DC movies. And this is not in that style. It's in the style of the old DC, of the older style.
Well, but also not quite in that either. Like John has a new look.
Yeah.
So does Etrigan. Like they don't look exactly the same.
Yeah, he
And
doesn't have
it's
like
its
the
own
full beard.
style.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan back as back as Constantine.
Lord bless Matt Ryan for still being able to do Constantine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that. Especially he's a good voice actor for him too.
He is.
And he's gotten better like over the years. Too.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see kind of like the aftermath of what happened after Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. That definitely intrigues me. Like having a Constantine animated show, anime whatever with Matt Ryan, you've already got me. But like that added one, I'm like, all right, I'm curious to know what we're doing here. Are we going to connect the two universes or what?
It's
Like,
cool.
Like when you told Sparks to type it into his Fire Stick when we were watching the trailer, I was like, man, I really hope it's Matt Ryan as Constantine still, and it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, yay.
It's now that we're like in the new universe with like like the Man of Tomorrow and like
Long Halloween
and stuff. Like I just thought like that previous universe was just forever done. So it is cool that they're doing like like post Secret Wars. Oh, let's talk about that universe thing.
Maybe we'll get maybe we'll get Robin and Robin and Raven back together.
Maybe.
Oh, spicy.
I like them in that movie
Mhm.
franchise.
Yeah.
Our flag means death.
Y'all, let me tell you about the real life hero that is Steve Bonnet, BFF with Blackbeard, because Blackbeard loved having a little jester man next to his side. This is about a rich man who wanted to become a pirate, but he's not a mean person.
He's a gentleman pirate.
I like if this
gentleman.
like yeah, like that looks like a large woman in a blouse or whatever. It's about a nice guy being a pirate in the 1700s or whatever. Like, I love Rhys Darby. I love Taika Waititi. You guys do too. Like, this show looks just so much fun. It looks like really expensive. Like, we don't often get really big pirate shows, and this is a huge pirate comedy.
Like the last one we got, I want to say
Sails.
Black Sails.
Yeah, that was like over a decade ago. Yeah.
Was it?
I feel like it.
Does feel like
You
it.
also thought Kill la Kill was 5 years ago.
Exactly. So it's probably even longer.
You know what? It probably was almost 10 years ago, because when Black Sails is big, Game of Thrones was bigger.
That's true.
That was Stars' answer to Game of Thrones.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you guys are all like super excited too.
I'm
It's
very
like,
excited for this.
I just like I went through my pirate Viking age like during the pandemic, so it's like I'm well versed in steampunk's real life history. So it's gonna be fun to see like how they dramatize this stupid man's life.
It's a damn entertaining looking show.
Black
Yeah.
Sails is 8 years old.
Okay, thank God.
Close.
Thank
close.
Black Sails came out in 2014.
I got 2 years. Thank God.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, but yeah, this show looks fantastic. I can't wait to watch it.
I'm very excited for this. I love Rhys Darby. I love Taika Waititi. I love pirate stuff. Bring it on.
Just
Let's
Taika
do it.
Waititi as Blackbeard sounds like that's a good
And it
time.
just looks so
HBO?
funny. Yeah,
HBO?
HBO Max.
Hell yeah.
HBO Max.
That big budget.
It's got the money.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
This is a bad trailer. And I'm not this is not me shitting on what this movie is going to be or anything. This is a bad trailer. This is a poorly cut trailer. I don't think the music does anything for it. This isn't me like not liking the song. It just isn't doing anything in conjunction with the movie to sell it or do anything like that. It's weirdly paced and not presenting its material very well. But the concept is incredibly fascinating. And so it hyped me up because like we didn't know this is what this movie was actually about.
Yeah.
This is very cool. I don't think it's an accident that they make a direct acknowledgement of Roger Rabbit in the trailer.
Yeah.
I think they are trying to telegraph to us this is going to be in the vein of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I am so glad that I'm not the only one who thought this was a really bad trailer, because when I first saw this, I was like, nope.
I was taken aback by just the idea of the trailer itself. Like, I don't even know if it's a good or bad trailer. I never thought a movie like this would get made, specifically by the Lonely Island crew, who they just made a movie like this a couple years ago called Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping. And that's exactly what this movie is, but with Chippendale. So like, yeah, the trailer's not great. I never thought a movie like this would be made. I think this looks insanely fun.
I'm with you, Ryan. Like, I did kind of feel like there was something off about the trailer, but like,
yeah, the music does not work. Like
the idea of like, we're doing the
true Hollywood story.
Right, we're using the Chippendale true Hollywood story in the vein of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and like having like the whole commentary like reboots and animated reboots and things like that. Like we were not aware of what this movie was.
I thought it was going to be a Smurf, like another Smurfs.
But like, this was so far out of left field, and I got very excited.
Yeah, I got more excited by the premise alone.
I'm fully with you. I agree on that. Like I love the concept. We're seeing like meta analysis of animation, whether it's through the era of like Cats and Beowulf.
The Beowulf thing killed me. This is like, it's gonna be like what Spider-Man is like a love letter to the MCU or whatever. This is a love letter to animation almost.
Yes.
Like even the bad stuff.
We've got a character villain that seems to be an amalgamation of different Disney characters. That we see in the trailer.
Like we paused it and we were trying to pick out like Quasimodo's torso, Ralph's from Wreck-It Ralph's left arm, Fat Cat's face with Maria, the Aristocats little bow tie.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on here. And again, like a fascinating thing that a lot of people haven't been catching, but some have, is the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic characters appearing, which they're not owned by Disney. So there's some studio work going on here that's going to be really interesting. Again, like Roger Rabbit, this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I do have one complaint, and it's the animation, specifically Chip. When we see them in the past, when Chippendale's at its height, they're all done in this style. When we move up forward, Chip and the one who loves cheese, whose name is escaping me,
cheesy.
I just remember
they're both still in this animation form, which is that it's not true 2D, it's 3D generated 2D, which bums me out, man. Especially that I would mind it less if it at least was showing that when they're in the past, when they're in like the heyday of the show being popular, they're classic 2D animation. And it's all the more jarring because there is hand-drawn figures in this trailer that aren't Chip. The one that's feeding the mouse that's saying "more cheese, please" is actual 2D animation.
By the way, that's so cute. More please.
Yeah, that's a 2D animated figure, actual 2D animation, and Chip isn't, and it's driving me crazy because like part of the point is the CGI model against like 2D animation. Like, yeah, I got that CGI upgrade, bro, of what Dale is doing, and it just feels so bizarre that they didn't dedicate to actually doing the hand-drawn animation with them, especially when you have one of the few praises I can give Space Jam: A New Legacy. Beautiful 2D hand-drawn animation. Those characters look incredible in 2D. It was stunning, and mostly because you haven't seen big budget do it in so long. And the fact that like this is coming from Disney and we're doing a thing that's specifically analyzing all the different forms of what animation has done, and we're having 2D represented characters, but we're generating them out of 3D. Big bummer. There's that shot where they're both on like the platter that's coming down towards Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
They look like shit. They look like shit dancing on that thing because they're 2D characters being rendered out of 3D. They do not look good. They do not look as good as they should. It's a bummer, man. But yes, I think the concept is super cool and I really want to see it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
I think that the concept alone, and it's weird to do it with Chip and Dale. Like you could plug in any characters, but it's kind of makes it unique to do it with Chip and Dale.
I mean, it helps that like you have two characters, so like they can have like the relationship, then the divide, instead of it just being like a solo character or a huge group of characters or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Importantly, it was always a little weird to me why John Mulaney and Andy Samberg were stepping in as the voices for these characters. And I was like, I guess that's kind of to get away from the Alvin and the Chipmunks of it all. And I do think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But now it's also an acknowledgement of like, well, this is what their real voices were. Like they're playing characters when they're on the show, and this is who they really are. It's like, which we didn't know that was the narrative at the time. So I really like that. Now.
Absolutely, yeah.
To be perfectly honest, John Mulaney's voice as Chip does not work for me at all. Andy
He's
Samberg
Dale. I think
no, Andy Samberg's Dale.
Oh, is Andy Samberg
Yeah.
Dale? Okay.
Yeah, John Mulaney as Chip is not working for me.
I'll be
Dale-
honest, I don't have a connection to them.
I mean,
to really to care.
For me, Andy Samberg works better as Dale, but
I like Mulaney as
I am
as
not
Chip.
I am not going to say they're not working for me. I will say the first time I watched it, it was a little jarring to hear those voices come out of those
Right, because
characters,
they're so squeaky.
just because it's different.
Yeah.
But it's not breaking anything for me. I'll say that.
Yeah, I get that.
The animation is way more harping on me, man.
I'll be honest, like I don't have a show called Animation Station, so like I'm not an animation guy as much, but like didn't bother me whatsoever. I didn't even notice it, to be honest.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it.
Hell yeah.
Oh wow.
Should we get into our topic then?
I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Trailer for that Capcom fighter.
All right.
I'm sure.
So we're back. We never left. We don't go anywhere.
Welcome
But-
back.
Sparks,
It's time to
it's-
ask, what if, as so many people on Twitter seem to want, what if
I'm not seeing any of it.
Lucasfilm gave in? Oh, it's definitely happening though. What if Lucasfilm gave in to the Snyder cultists of Star Wars and wiped away the sequel trilogy from canon
It's a dumb idea.
and started
I don't know what else
all
to say. It's a
over
dumb
Well,
idea.
you know, a guy from work whose source is they said says that they're actually gonna do it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'd rather them get rid of the prequels.
I
But,
mean,
like,
I acknowledge up front, like, this will never happen. There's no real
Never happen.
universe where this would ever happen. I acknowledge that. I understand that. But there's enough demand out there that I thought it would be interesting for us to discuss what would that even do? Not necessarily just to Star Wars, but to pop culture if
It'd
you
be
broke
bad.
that line.
It would suck.
I
It'd
mean,
be stupid.
the broad answer would be absolute pandemonium, and I would also say catastrophe.
It would be interesting because it's an interesting like what if scenario to kind of think about, because you're right, Sparks. It is very much like, you know, what would the cultural reaction be to that sort of thing, to kind of this level of pandering. Like, look, giving the Suicide Squad to not the Suicide Squad to Justice League back to Zack Snyder. That was giving people what they were asking for, but to this level, there is no world where there's another version of the sequel trilogy that never got to be made, like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
True.
So like giving this to people who are just demanding it based on, let's be honest, not altruistic reasons, gives them a validation.
Truthfully, if there were enough money to be made in it, they'd do it.
Yeah.
And like that's unsettling. But it's
Well,
true.
of course, anything that makes a lot of money can happen. Of course.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had more to say with that, but
Sorry. No, yeah, yeah.
undercut it. Absolutely.
Sorry.
But like if they did it, and they had a reason to believe that there was that money behind it, it's a really like I understand people being displeased with it, but this concept that you would just wipe away all that work and all of that, and you at where do you stop then?
Yeah.
Once that chain has been broken, I think in Star Wars, but in pop culture in general, like I just can't wrap my head around that. The belief, not only the desire, but the belief that would be done.
Yeah, and it's interesting that like the vehicle that they think is going to do it are like the Mandalorians, like
Right?
the New Republic
Yes.
era.
Constantly, what they were pulling to is that the Disney Plus shows are here to wipe away
Yes.
the canon that has been set up in the sequel trilogy. That's the purpose of them.
Yeah, and so like there's this kind of like conspiracy theory going around that like these shows are all going to like lead up to like Thrawn. I think is the current like this is all leading to Thrawn or something like that. The idea like what would they need? Like they already said that Book of Boba Fett did retcon the Last Jedi specifically, which it doesn't. But like they're already kind of using that ammunition and going so far as to like if it was, what would they need said? Like, oh, Han and Leia never had a son.
Mm-hmm.
Like then that's what will do it. Like they just need a little bit of validation to just all of a sudden say that the whole ship is falling apart.
Right. Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is.
I know we all.
I
know we all hate it, but at the same time, it's just okay. I'm trying to get my thoughts to get because it's going about 100 miles a minute. It's like you said, Brandon. It's people taking that validation and grasping at the tiniest of straw, and whatever piece of straw they get, they see that as irrefutable proof. It's essentially it's the conspiracy theorists. It's people who take things way too extreme, and they're just running with it. And what I say. Look, I agree. Not everyone likes the last Star Wars films. That I'm not a big fan of The Rise of Skywalker, but I'm not demanding Disney remake $1 billion+ movie just because I didn't like it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Tough.
Yeah,
you're not the one who made the movie. You're not the one who did.
You brought up an idea that I wanted to dive into. Is this any different than like Halloween? Ignoring the previous sequels that came before.
See, that's an interesting point of why I've thought about this. That and like what they did when they wrote out like and turned previous entries into legends, right?
Yeah.
Like I've thought about this where I'm like there's enough pretense of it being possible, but like not
with Star Wars.
It feels bigger with like main movies to take them out of canon, right? But like so the world that I'm afraid of us walking towards with the way we're playing with multiverse more and more is getting to multiverse Star Wars entries and down the line getting to a point where they're like, well, here's a what if scenario for those of you who wanted the real Star Wars sequels, and here's a what if 7, 8, and 9. Because that's a multiverse one.
There is a sense that Lucasfilm is willing to cater in some way to this demand, but not go so far as, but not quite take the step that they desire.
Yeah,
we've been ingrained with What If forever though, so I don't have a problem with them doing What If because we've read What If Legends books like multiple.
No,
so
100%. I think that and that's why I kind of wanted. I think it's a matter of if, of when, not if we get multiverse Star Wars stories. I think that will happen, but I question if they'll ever come to film. And if they do, no. I don't think that they should ever be a what if the sequel trilogy but different.
Right.
That will never happen in our lifetimes.
Yeah, but like going back to like my question, like, there are franchises that do this regularly.
Sure.
But like Star Wars feels like a bigger one. Like it wouldn't happen to Star Wars.
Star Wars is too much of a touchstone.
Yeah, I would have to say like the Halloween films don't have that much of a fan base, and people are just happy. It's like, cool, new Halloween. Whereas Star Wars, that is a cultural, like that is a
base their identities on it. Many people base their identities on
exactly. Yeah, Star Wars, like Spark said, it is a cultural touchstone in not just American cinema but the world. It's like you go anywhere in the world and you can mention Star Wars, someone's gonna be like, oh yeah, I love Star Wars.
It's interesting. What I think is kind of cool. What Sparks is like touching on is the fact that like, on various sides of this issue, there's precedent already established. Like I said, with the people can erase sequels all the time. The fact that Lucasfilm is willing to appease in some way to the quote unquote fandom menace. So like the two of them combined almost kind of feel like where Lucasfilm could potentially head. Because especially because they're all like focused on like corporate synergy. We just read the news of like the Halcyon Star Cruiser.
There's this sense of ownership we've talked about before, especially in tandem with Star Wars when we talked with Ken Knapsack, that there's this ownership that makes it so you kind of brush up and fight against, like a lot of people do brush up against and fight against what the story is doing because it's not what they envisioned for it. This happened before with the prequel trilogy, and like I have issues with the prequels, but like I wouldn't just want them, even though I've heard people and I've thought of and heard people describe like better versions of what those movies
there
are
is
doing.
a Clone Wars that existed before the Clone Wars that is, in my opinion, way cooler.
Right. Like I've heard of these things, but like I wouldn't necessarily say, yeah, like go and make that now. Like go and wipe away episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Like it is what it is. It's my whole problem with Rise of Skywalker is that Rise of Skywalker, I feel like, is the one chain that kind of breaks the rule of why everything is working, is because everything still feels like it's yes and. Whereas Rise of Skywalker felt like it was but. But I still I accept that Rise of Skywalker is where that story ended up. And I wait for the next thing that's going to make me feel better about where that story ended up.
They're doing it right
but
now.
You're not looking. But the difference is what they're asking for is to redo them, whereas you're just like Clone Wars did with the prequels. It kind of it recontextualizes things. It makes you feel a little bit better about some of the issues that they have, and they're looking for that for the sequel trilogy, not for them.
Listen,
to
it's the same people who wanted to do the last seasons of Game of Thrones. It's stupid people. Like it's just deal with art when it's bad. Just deal with it. We all do it.
It's the same thing with the DC universe, which we were talking about with on our Peacemaker episode, where like I don't care for Batman v Superman. I frankly never need to see it again in my life. I accept that it exists in the world of the films I'm watching, but I also don't ever need to see it again to engage with those other pieces of the fiction. Just the same as like I don't have to watch Rise of Skywalker again.
Right.
Like it is part of the canon. I don't have to watch it again. Like they will eventually tell a story that takes place after it. It will have been the history of that story. If that story is good, I can like that story and still not be very crazy about Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's true. You also wanted to bring up CG Luke.
Yeah, so like in connection with this, CG Luke has hit it is kind of the furthest along that we've gotten with how good these kind of deepfake properties can look. And we've talked about like when the James Dean thing was announced and where that's headed and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of where we're at right now, the reactions to it, where we think that's heading for pop culture as a whole, not necessarily just strictly in relation to Star Wars, and how we feel about when it's used and why it should be used, kind of thing. Because I'm pretty comfortably, I think, in the place of I like the idea of using this technology when we are working with either the consent or actual use of the living actor to do it, and then that's being used to enhance the performance already. So an example with Mandalorian would be Mark Hamill is actually contributing the lines, contributing work to create the performance of the character, but the deep fake is making him look like he did 30-40 years ago. Great. I think that's a good use of that technology.
It's a collaboration.
Building a robot, Luke, not so much.
It's kind of used again as that fuel, going back to like, this is now we're seeing like the true Luke Skywalker. People talk about it a lot, like, this is my Luke Skywalker. This is how because like
your Luke Skywalker is not real.
What they want is for Luke Skywalker to not have done anything
wrong.
In between like the times we see him. Like, it's the idea of like, when you get something like a character, like a legacy character returning, and they feel like you just left them, even though it's been like
they don't want any character change. They want to be exactly the same way that they were 30 years ago.
Yeah, and so like you get this, so you get the sense that like they've not done anything in the meantime. We see in like Laurie Strode, going back to the Halloween thing, we feel like she has done things in between. It feels like that character did not just stay in amber until the next time we saw her. But that's what they want for Luke. They want for Luke to just kind of be taken out whenever he's necessary, and not touch the toy aspect of him. And
don't take him out of the box.
And that's creating this idea that we need to keep deep baking this Luke Skywalker so it keeps looking like Mark Hamill and sounding like Mark Hamill, as if it was so that maybe we'll trick people into thinking this is the Mark Hamill you always wanted to see. That sucks.
If the voice
It
didn't
does.
sound like shit and they just got him, and it still, even though Mark Hamill's old, they just got him and did his voice
It
instead of
feels
doing
like
a robot
it
voice.
feels like
Right.
this is the Luke Skywalker. This is the actor
Yeah, if
Luke
he's
Skywalker.
muted, it is 100%. But then
This
he
is-
talks and he's drunk.
Right, but it feels like you are actually. This is not a living, breathing thing anymore. This is not an
Right.
actor performing the role of Luke Skywalker.
This is a stunt double with a robot face.
This is the character. This is the actor
Mhm.
known as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
This is Kermit the Frog.
Sure.
know.
Kermit the Jedi here.
I would have to agree with Sparks on his point where, or like the power of his point where the actor gives consent and is a part of it. Like the scene in like the season finale of season 2 of Mandalorian where Luke shows up and that was Mark Hamill like on set physically. I mean, yes, they defaked him to make him look 30, 40 years younger, but it was still him there.
Well,
That made
not technically. He's not the body. He's just the voice.
but still, he had a part
He was
of it.
involved
He
in
was
some way.
exactly. He
Yeah.
was involved.
Some way.
When I was talking to you guys in that episode of Boba Fett, where it's like they put his name there, but he wasn't involved at all. I'm like, then don't do it. If he wasn't there, if he did not contribute a damn thing, why is his name?
He
in the
was the
credits?
executive producer of that voice role.
And Luke Skywalker as himself.
Um,
That's the James Dean thing, right?
it-
Like
this
James
is
Dean
James
is going to be in a movie.
Right. So like that's a great, like I'm pretty strongly against, like I don't think there should be a deep fake of James Dean into a film.
Yeah.
I don't think that's appropriate. Here's something where it came up today in my brain because we watched the Elvis Baz Luhrmann trailer, which cool. I like Baz Luhrmann, so probably gonna like it.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking, like, I think where I might shift my line is when it comes to biopics.
Mhm.
And the only reason I feel that way is because when we're talking about historical figures, they're already trying to look like them anyway. This
Yeah.
is already a story that's being consented to be told about them anyway.
You're trying to find someone that
If
look
you
like
are
them.
taking that actor's performance and enhancing it with deepfake to make them look closer to that historical figure,
Yes.
that I also think is okay.
Yes.
So if you were making a biopic about James Dean, a actor is playing James Dean,
Mhm.
and then the deepfake is helping that actor to look more like James Dean.
Yeah.
I'm more okay.
I got
with
something for
this.
you. Lily James in Pam and Tommy right now. She's
Right.
unrecognizable
Yeah.
as Pamela Anderson.
Right.
If that were makeup or a deep fake, what's the difference really?
Exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
tool.
Like,
Exactly.
you have-
Technology is a
um,
tool at the end of the day always, so it can be used however you need to, but use it for good, not for people
And
who,
whether-
can't, be,
and
who,
whether-
can't be, who can't say no to it.
Right. And whether deceased or otherwise, like, again, a biopic of James Dean, I'm like, I'm more for that having a deep fake on it to make the actor look like James Dean, as long as the actor is still contributing a performance to
Yeah.
it.
If makeup can't do it, then why not? Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas the actually we are just artificially recreating James Dean is like, that's gross.
Yes.
Christian Bale as former vice president
Dick Cheney.
Yeah,
Oh God, so good makeup,
Or
man.
Gary
Absolutely.
Oldman as Cheney.
yeah,
Yeah.
or no,
Yeah.
Gary Oldman as Churchill.
Churchill.
I was actually gonna say Churchill, 'cause I-
Right.
But like when actor, I would say for biopics, that's the exception because you have an actor doing the role, and it's like, hey, we're gonna use technology to make you look like. Think of all the steps that the
Who
makeup
gets
team.
nominated then.
Digital,
gets
the digital
The,
artist.
like the digital artist or the actor.
it's
That's
still-
why. That's why like Caesar.
Well-
that was
well,
the whole thing
yeah.
with, like,
If the
Caesar
actor
was-
is still playing the performance, then the actor gets nominated because
Yeah.
the digital, like, they get nominated for the digital effects if the digital effects.
Circus
are
should have
that
been
good.
nominated.
But like,
Yeah.
but because
Taron
like it's just like Ryan said, like then at that point it's just in place of makeup. It's a different
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
the
the
tool.
digital
Like,
makeup.
as
yeah.
I was going to say is like Rami Malek when he played Freddie Mercury, they put like some stuff in his teeth to make him look more like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton when he was Elton John.
Yep.
He took vocal lessons. As far as I know, he did vocal stuff with Elton.
should have won that Oscar.
Should
Yep.
have. I was
It's true.
I was just as mad
Over
as you were
Malek.
when he got snubbed.
Yeah,
But still, Taron Egerton was Elton John. While Elton John's still alive, thank God, he was Elton frickin'
He
John.
was also involved in the making of that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
he was.
but it would be like if you know Taron Egerton had the. It's going back to like what James Cameron when he created performance capture wanted to do. It's digital makeup, right?
Mhm.
It's Avatar was digital makeup.
True.
Caesar is digital
It's-
makeup.
Yeah.
And like that's what this is.
truly it's the same way that I think we all feel about CGI, which is like practical for CGI to improve.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not CGI alone.
Gollum.
And
Gollum looks pretty good.
Gollum for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
CGI looks amazing, but Andy Serkis is Gollum. He did the voice and everything.
right. So this is the same. Like it's that
So
as long as
Kong.
there is a performer behind it, and they're recreating like these people who they would be recreating with makeup anyway, then fine. But it feels different when it's fictional characters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you're making them look like another actor, especially an actor that's passed away, because at that point
I'm always for
it's-
recasting.
we're not
Yeah.
it's not necessary. Like Alden Ehrenreich looks enough like a younger Harrison Ford. I don't need him to be deep faked into looking like Harrison Ford.
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be so weird.
I'm when it comes to I almost said fake, but when it comes to fictional, that's the word. When it comes to fictional characters that do not exist and have never existed and exist in a fantasy world or a fantasy style setting, recast them. I'm fine with having a brand new actor be Luke Skywalker. Mark
Yeah.
Hamill, as much as I love Mark Hamill, he had his time both back in the day and now with The Last Jedi. He had his time as Luke Skywalker.
It's like what I told a friend this where who would like the deepfake Mark Hamill. And it's like, look, recast him, because the time for Mark Hamill to do this role has sadly passed before Lucas sold,
we are
sold Lucasfilm. We are a very long time away from where Mark Hamill should have been this version of Luke Skywalker.
yes.
So like you missed the train on that. Recast him.
And like
Yeah.
because we're in the era of technology where we're allowed to do that. We're like in like olden days they would just recast people, and people are smart enough to know, oh, that's not Terrence Howard, it's Don Cheadle, but he's the same person. Like
Yeah.
you're smart enough to know,
Yeah.
oh, that's Luke Skywalker, but it's not Mark Hamill because Mark Hamill's 70 years old.
Same.
Like it's
Mhm.
you got to give your audience more credit. Like, yeah, it's cool to see young Luke Skywalker, but what cost? At
Yeah,
what cost?
Like people go, oh, that's my Luke. It's like, oh, that's my Luke Skywalker. It's like it's just Mark Hamill's face on that doesn't look that
Admittedly,
good.
it's a really good looking face, but then he talks and you're like, oh, bro, go to sleep.
You're like, oh no, go. It's like, kill it with fire.
Not only that, like everybody, like all the people like saying, oh God, now we could just like watch Luke be a character in a movie. And I'm like, we could barely watch him when he opens his mouth.
How
like, I have to
often
cut
was-
away most
did
of the
they
time.
ADR his shit?
Yeah,
in that
like-
episode?
like-
all
yeah,
the
they said that people are talking about like how they'd watch a movie with this Luke
Oh,
Skywalker.
hell no.
No, baby.
And like
Hell
it
no.
looks impressive. I'm not like they did incredible work. They really
But he
did
can't move.
recreating him. But like there are limits, and I would feel fine with those limits if Mark Hamill were the actor performing him.
Yeah.
Like then I'd be like, you know what? For the amount he appeared in the show, great, fine. I'm fine with it. He can look young, and it's Mark Hamill. But they decided to create a dumb freaking robot,
Yeah,
and I can't get past that. I'm like, that's so. It turned
it's
what
weird.
already would have been hard to swallow into a completely hollow representation, and I don't understand people who can watch it and be like, "This is the
You know
Luke
what
I
bums me
always
out
wanted to see."
the most out of this? It's that Filoni and Favreau were 100% cool with this outcome.
I mean,
that's
Favreau-
what makes me the most sad.
I mean, it definitely bums me out with Filoni. Favreau doesn't shock me as much because he made that stupid Lion King movie and thought that was a good idea.
That's a good point. But he's under the influence of Filoni. Like they're
For
like
sure.
he's getting them.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they're both doing it.
yeah, like I'm not too worried. Like Disney, Marvel's been pretty good about like they're just like, oh, they just make him look younger, and
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Like all those
'Cause,
actors are still there.
Like
and all that
that's
stuff,
still
yeah.
Sam Jackson. It's still Clark
It's still
Gregg. but-
young RDJ. He looks great.
Yeah, but that's still them.
Yeah.
That's still them. They're physically there.
This also brings up like a point where both the Marvel and Star Wars contracts, it like all the contracts that have recently been signed by these actors since these things started about a decade ago, ramping up their productions, they've signed over their likenesses.
The digital
Yes.
likenesses.
Yes,
yeah,
so
yeah.
even if they're not involved, they can just make their digital likenesses, and that's a frightening
That's
concept
one reason
because
we talked about it.
I don't want that.
We talked about it on the we might have talked about it on the Matrix thing, but Jet Li didn't want to be in the Matrix because they were going to digitally take over his body, so they'll have like his entire moveset to do like in the game and stuff. He's like, I don't want you to have my likeness on file for the rest of eternity. So he turned down the role. And that is a scary thing to think about. It's like you are on file for all of time. And those Marvel guys are like forever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the idea that they'll just slap Finn into something just because they can, and John Boyega will have nothing to do with it.
And he'll get like a random paycheck.
and
maybe.
the fear I have is that that's where they want the technology to go, is where they don't have to rely on like, will the actor say yes to coming back for this appearance kind of thing.
They don't even need them.
We can shoehorn it. We can fake it till we make it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you really shouldn't though. It
Mhm.
doesn't hold up.
This whole thing, including what we were talking about like this whole thing is a slippery slope to what I said earlier, something horrible and something catastrophic. Going back to earlier about saying, what if Disney were to decide to give in to that I'm to that group of people, the Snyder cultists of Star
What would
Wars.
it be? Would it be like a new like in this hypothetical situation, this what if, like, would it be 3 new movies, or would it be in like
Yeah, you'd make a new trilogy.
Yeah, you make a new trilogy the air quotes right way. But this
with
is a
fake Luke as the star.
yeah, but this is an extremely slippery slope. Warner Brothers is starting to go down that with the Snyder cut. However, that I'm going to give a bit of a pass to because we argue
That's a different story.
Exactly.
There's
Different
a lot
case.
of different
That's
reasons.
a
Yeah, a
very-
lot of different reasons, but still,
it does feel like, look, I get the comparison, because like the idea is that the toxic element was
Mhm.
were demanding it.
Yes.
It's
So-
the big problem I still have with the fact that the cut was
Yes.
released is because like people who were really shitty got to win.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
like
didn't
that
want
w-
them.
That would be this case, but unlike the Snyder cut, there's no precedent for this. There's no other version of Star Wars of the sequel trilogy that exists already. It would be like you would have to make it from scratch
They're
to
just
give into
crybabies.
to crybabies essentially.
Yeah.
It's not like Justice League where it's not like Justice League where, because like that film was pretty much done
It was
already.
butchered too. Yeah.
It was.
So
But so going on to my point about that is that you know what, this also goes back to the outrage from the Sonic the Hedgehog before the redesign.
Mhm.
Fans got mad, they got very toxic, and the studio caved. And while it came out for the better for it,
100%.
yeah, well, it came out for the better for that, and that
Sometimes bullying
in that
works.
scenario, the outcome was better. But at the same
the
time,
artist suffered.
but the
Yeah.
but at the same time, if this were to happen for Star Wars, that I feel would just be a tipping point. Whereas a movie would come out that people would love, but then you get the vocal minority to just storm Twitter and review bomb it, and then the studio's like, "Well, we have to do what the fans want," whereas the fans are just like a bunch of trolls on Twitter who are just trying to.
But that's the
F with people.
thing. Like we are all very online on Twitter. Twitter is not the world.
No,
No.
not at
Twitter
all.
is such a small ecosystem. It's not like before Peacemaker was the biggest show in the world. Nobody on Twitter was talking about Peacemaker. It was the #1 show in the world.
Right.
Like Twitter is an ecosystem that like we have to remember sometimes. Like it is more than us.
No,
It is
100%.
100% more.
100%.
Yeah.
I know it is not that big of a majority that's making these kind of demands. But I do think it's a fascinating concept of like Brandon brings up a good point. Like other franchises can get away with that kind of move. Star Wars can't.
No.
Yeah.
Star Wars can't do that. And it just it violates everything because you cannot. I want a different version of Rise of Skywalker, but I can't get that and then be upset when the person who hates The Last Jedi wants a different version of Last Jedi.
Exactly.
So you have to
Yes.
just meet art where it's at.
Which we're all smart and we do, thankfully.
Yeah. But it's going back to like the Sonic the Hedgehog one. What was so unfortunate about that one is that like I 100% agree. I was not down with watching that original version of Sonic in a
But
movie.
they went in
I
the
didn't want
crunch.
it at all. But you video game crunch the artists to do it, and that's so shitty.
Yeah.
Just so shitty. And I wish that wasn't the cost we had to pay to get the proper way Sonic should have looked the whole time anyway.
Right. Yeah, it freaking sucks. I loved the outcome of that, but the fact that these artists had to go into crunch mode just to satisfy an outcry on the internet, it hurt. Yes, I was not happy with the design of Sonic, but at the same time, if they kept it, if Paramount decided to stay with that design of Sonic, I would still have gone and seen the movie.
That was a really funny day on Twitter when that trailer came out.
It wasn't.
God, what an ugly little monster.
Oh, not just that.
It's really hard
The
to believe that
posters.
people looked at like the very first frame of it and didn't go, "We need to change this."
Yeah, but
I mean, it's entirely likely
That's
that
not a
they were-
Sonic that sells merch.
No, it's entirely likely that they had started working on it before the trailer dropped. But
it's possible.
like, they knew
but
it had to be changed.
But like
Drop the
that
trailer.
trailer has enough frames in it that like they were
That's
moving
a
forward
lot
with
of
that
footage.
design, and I'm like, nah, man, that ain't it.
even if you look at some of the behind the scenes stuff, like the Sonic stand-in was the original Sonic.
yeah.
Was the thing that we saw. So it
The
wasn't.
thing, you're right. That is a thing.
It wasn't until obviously we saw the stand-ins for Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in the new one where we knew what they looked like, and we're like, holy shit, they look just like the book or the video games,
Right.
comics.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, none of us want them to remake a
Well, don't worry,
entire trilogy.
we're
of the
safe.
thing. And that's not even the point. It's just that
Right.
like the thing that is kind of interesting for me is like the amount of money
Yeah.
that would just be like so wasted to be talking to a certain subset of people.
Several thousands of people.
And like the point is like they'll never be happy.
No.
Because what
Right.
they want is not what they're ever going to get because
Right.
they have such a strict idea of what something needs to be.
Very macho Luke.
Yeah, very
Ray not even to be the main character.
I mean, because
Yeah.
fundamentally, you need you keep Return of the Jedi as it is, but they're not understanding Return of the Jedi, which is the whole reason why they're wanting a version of Luke that just never was.
Well,
who
see,
Luke was.
no, what they want is they want all the sequel stuff that came out the 2 decades before Disney bought Star Wars, when Luke did have a temple, and there was Dash Rendar, and there was all Luke was
they just
the
wanted
greatest
the stories
hero.
that they were married to just be adapted.
They want the stories from their childhood.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like, to try and explain what I was trying to go with earlier, if Star Wars does it, nothing is safe.
Yeah,
I feel like Star Wars is too big and it's just too giant.
I think it'd be like if Marvel was just like, you know what, we're just gonna make a sequel to Iron Man and screw everything else.
I mean, but even then, like, you have a built-in excuse that, like, even if they didn't say it, you could be like, well, this is a multiverse.
Yeah, what if?
But like Star Wars doesn't have that backdoor escape. So Ben's right. Like, it's one of the reasons why it's such an unsettling thought to think about, because again, like, almost any other franchise could pull this kind of bullshit. Not that they should, but they could. And you could move forward with it. But Star Wars can't. It would change too much.
It's different because, like, you can forget, like, Halloween 3, right? Or not, sorry, Halloween 3. Like what's like a bad Halloween? Halloween 5 or whatever?
Halloween H2O.
H2O, sure. Like Star Wars, like the Star Wars movies, those are almost history books.
Yes.
Like you can't, those will never ever be changed or moved.
Cultural touchstones.
You work around them, which is every other piece of Star Wars content we have ever gotten.
Right.
It's surrounding those movies. Like it's just a really hard conversation for me to have, because it's like, it's not even a hypothetical I can even believe.
Right.
Like, these people are not going to win.
No.
So like,
for sure.
I'm happy that I had The Last Jedi and they have Rise of Skywalker, and that's
yeah. I think it's more just an exercise in
I would rather talk about the Luke shit all day long.
where the flaws are in that. I mean, we could do that too.
Yeah.
I think, like, end of the day, if John Williams did the music for it, it's Star Wars canon for sure, and that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, like it or hate it, that's it.
Yeah.
John Williams did the score. Guess what? That's a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars canon, and it's there.
And like the stuff they're doing with Luke is like, he will be the good Jedi, and like making that good Jedi temple everyone wants, until it gets to the point where it is The Last Jedi, and then they'll get mad again, and then all of us will be happy and like, oh, we're back to square one.
Right. And like, even then, like, you look at minor spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the Book of Boba Fett. I guess we should have said that up front. But if in the Book of Boba Fett, you get like people who are already misreading like how Luke's talking to Grogu as like, oh yeah, like classic Jedi way, and I'm like, the whole point is that this isn't right.
Yeah. He's basically saying to Grogu, you should go with your dad, bro.
Yeah, he's wrong. He's not teaching him from his failures.
Yeah. This is pre Last Jedi Luke, and this is why Luke in the Last Jedi is the way he is, because he learned or tried to learn.
But it's such an interesting idea that the people who are so in denial about where the sequel trilogy took the character, that they don't see it like that. They see it the opposite. They see it like how they misunderstand the prequels or the Return of the Jedi. They misunderstand like the point of what they're seeing. I do
acknowledge that. I think there's an amount of just feeling a little burned by the wiping away of all. I think I understand people who are upset that all previous Star Wars canon was essentially erased. That wasn't.
I grew up with all of that stuff. So
no, for sure. But I understand the ire for that, because I think that there's a fair reason for people to feel like, I logically get why everything post Return of the Jedi had to change, because they were going to tell a new kind of story in the films, and they wanted to have a clean slate, and they couldn't keep everything canon and do that. That makes sense. But also everything that was before that was taken out too. Now, some of those things, if they haven't been directly addressed, or like they still would fit in the canon, there's nothing saying that those things can't still be in the canon. There's like plenty of like older comics that are Clone Wars comics and things, and like those stories fit into the new canon just fine. There's no reason that you can't like maintain them, that kind of thing, though they're technically called legends. I get being upset that those things got taken away from you, but to then use that to come at it and just be already just so anti-amped is where I think it just really, like, you spin yourself into this downfall cycle.
Yeah, and that's why something like this would never happen again, because Disney already did it. They did it to more than just 3 movies. They did it to almost 40 years of comics, video games, books, where more than three movies worth of stuff was. It's like, that is real anger,
right?
That is true anger that I get, but like it's
But-
wrong to
but
say to
people-
destroy something else though.
People also don't get that, like, George Lucas never considered those things canon either.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he only cared about Clone Wars and his movies. That's it.
Yeah. Now,
So like having this like idea that like what they want is for George to come back, not knowing
He didn't care about it either.
that he didn't care about the quote unquote legend stuff. He never considered it canon, and they are the ones that are the reason why he sold Star Wars,
Mhm.
why he sold Lucasfilm, because of the backlash for the prequels from the same people
Mhm.
who are doing the backlash to the sequels.
so I just had a thought a few minutes ago. Obviously, Star Wars is a generational thing.
Sure.
Like, we were lucky that we were alive during a time when the original trilogy came out. We got the prequels, and now we have the new trilogy.
I was
Every-
not
every-
around when the
every
original
20
trilogy
years.
came out.
Every 20
I mean,
years.
but like that you got to. I understand.
it
what
was
Ben
there.
said.
You were not
Mhm.
there for it.
You
Right.
It
had
was there.
what Ben means is you had the original trilogy at a time before the prequel trilogy existed.
That's true.
You had the
That's
original
true.
trilogy as just the original trilogy, which a certain amount of time after us,
Doesn't
that was no
exist.
longer the case. You had the prequel
Yeah.
trilogy as well, and your concept of Star Wars was colored differently.
Yeah. So now it's all a generational thing. If you were to take an old Star Wars fan with a new Star Wars fan, and that new Star Wars fan loves all the new stuff. I mean, they're hard into the new trilogy. They love Rey. They love Finn. They love Kylo Ren. They think this. They go to Disneyland and they're like, this is Star Wars.
Mhm.
And then you say, and then how would you feel if you were that kid and your dad would say, no, this isn't real Star Wars. This is real Star Wars, and they give you a Legends book and you read it and you go, this sucks.
Wow.
How would that be?
I mean, it wouldn't be good. I'm sure that's bad parenting.
I mean,
Mhm.
it definitely. I think something that's contributed to that kind of ire is that they were like, we're starting fresh with all this new canon, and so you get the comics and the books that are all supposed to be intermingling with each other, and it is unfortunate when those things
don't even matter.
don't work together.
Right.
That I also think contributes to the like.
What
You
was
took
the
away
point?
something if
That's-
you loved something
yes.
previously, you took away something I loved and said you were going to make something new and cohesive and like make it all combined, and then you violate that again
We're witnessing
and
it
don't care.
live with from post Last Jedi 2 Rise of Skywalker, them effing up their own canon.
Right.
Like with characters like Poe and stuff. So I'm like, you guys can't even get your shit together in like the year that you made a
Right,
comic.
it's
because
when
that
when
was-
we
so
had
like-
the thing with when the Rise of Skywalker came out. I said it felt like, for those of you who have been following the new canon since it was reestablished, it felt like Rise of Skywalker was punishing you for it.
Yeah.
A little bit, because, and this is well reported, this isn't like me just being a dickhead. Like J.J. Abrams didn't want to work with the Star Wars story group,
Mhm.
and that was the result. When Rise of Skywalker came out, he decided he didn't want to go back to the story group and have any conversations about anything. So Filoni wasn't involved. Nobody was involved who knew the trajectory of what was going on in the comics. Because, like, I don't expect J.J. Abrams to know what's happening in the
No.
comics. I don't expect him to be reading them.
No.
I do expect him to listen to the people who are planning it and paying
Yeah.
attention and incorporate those elements.
That's
to
why they're
work with it.
there.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Poe
point of
Dameron.
why there is a Star Wars story group.
Yeah.
And the fact that he just went no, and unfortunately the fact that Kathleen Kennedy let him say no and run with it, and so did
Mhm.
Iger. Bummer.
Yeah.
Because that is kind of the point of why we stepped away from the things that people loved before, was to start something that felt true and new and all work together. And Rise of Skywalker has many failings. One of them is to just say, like, all that new canon we said is going to matter. Nah.
There's two things like Ryan was talking about, like with Poe, right? Like Poe Dameron was established in the new canon to be a Republic fighter.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a pilot
Born
for the
into it.
for the Republic,
And he had a
born
force
into it,
tree.
and he had a force tree, and like Rise of Skywalker says he was a spice runner.
That's what?
Yeah, they turned the Latino guy into a drug.
And
drug
so
guy.
like they
Smart.
said he's a spice runner, and then they tried to like backtrack it because they realized their mistake when they're writing the visual dictionary, because that is involved with the story group. But they had to be like, oh yeah, and then he was conscripted into the. But the Rise of Skywalker clearly says that he was a spice runner until Leia said, "Hey, join my resistance."
Yeah.
And so like that's another issue. And then like even in Clone Wars season 7, the fight between Maul and Ahsoka happens differently in the Ahsoka novel than it does in the Clone Wars season 7.
or even-
Kanan as a kid.
Kanan as a kid just happened with
In
the Bad
Bad
Batch.
Batch,
Or
the
even-
comic.
Or
Yeah.
even recently, Yoda's lightsaber in the Charles Soule Darth Vader run
Yep.
was destroyed,
And
whereas Luke gets it in the book of Boba Fett.
And that's maybe one of the like the one you brought up with the Bad Batch and Kanan, Ryan. That's maybe one of my like low blows from Filoni, is when Filoni directly acknowledged it, because like people were saying like, hey, this doesn't line up with the comic, and he's like,
yeah, I don't care.
And he's like, yeah, we knew the comic was there, but like we thought this was a more engaging way for the audience to meet with Kanan on the television level. And I'm like, bro, like, why are we even
What are you doing?
these then?
Why are we doing this?
I mean,
Yeah.
now that we have this influx of Star Wars media that is now have to put air quotes in canon. It's like you should be on top of these things. I know
would
it's
be like
not,
if Chrysanthemum, Ben, it would be like if Chrysanthemum came into the Book of Boba Fett and it was like, oh yeah, I met you doing a spice run instead of in the gladiatorial pits.
yeah.
You know,
I-
like it would be like that. Like people know who Black Chrysanthemum is.
Why
and if
even
you don't
do the setup?
why change it?
I mean, I understand me complaining about Yoda's lightsaber in Book of Boba Fett is just hardcore nitpicking.
No, but the point has been like they don't care about their own continuity.
yeah, which is
because the comics are supposed to matter.
yeah.
That's the point. Like,
Everything is supposed to
yeah,
matter.
that's,
Well,
that's
and
like the
yeah.
point. Yeah.
And like clearly they think on some level they do because they introduced someone like Chrysanthemum into Book of Boba Fett, and they're like, the comic fans are gonna love this. And it's like,
And
but
we
also
did.
at the same time, you also don't care enough to acknowledge what is happening
The
in the story
past.
of the comics. Like
Yeah.
I get like not knowing exactly how to plan for like what more story the comics are filling out. Sure, I understand that. But at the same time, like there are things that are there that you can reference or at least not negate.
Talk to each other, guys. Come on.
And that's why there's a story group. But like how is it that like these things get so often ignored? Obviously, like the High Republic is benefiting by being pretty far removed. Like they know what story they're working up to. It's very hard for them to screw up what they're heading towards.
Yeah.
So they get to kind of have a whole different playground they get to live with.
And in their own like world, like
Yeah.
they can make up literally anything they want.
Right.
Like the freedom there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It-
I don't know if I have much else.
I don't. I might, but at the same time, I,
think-
might just be repeating a bunch
I
of
think
stuff
we
I said
ran.
earlier.
I think we ran the gamut on like the canon non-canon stuff of Star Wars, and you know like it just can't be done the way it can be done with like
The-
things like Halloween or
The
that.
thing that
Sure.
I'm everything we talked about, the thing I'm most worried about is more like I'm fine with deep faking, but like don't
Yeah, I
just
wanna get back
don't
to that.
just replace actors. Like if you're even gonna replace Mark Hamill, just let him do the voice at least. Like having an entirely digital dude, like at least make the voice sound good. He doesn't even sound good. He sounds sleepy and drunk. Like I
Right.
just don't get how like they watched that episode and said he sounds great. I don't understand how they allow that to happen.
Because all they wanted was to hear. They were so concerned with whether or not they could. They weren't considering
yeah.
whether or not they should.
no
that-
one's
that
like, does he
definitely
sound
applies-
drunk to you?
It definitely applies to the deepfake a lot, but like they heard him sounding young and they were like perfect.
enough?
And I'm like, I'd rather hear Luke sound weirdly old and look young than just
Or
sound hollow.
Even if they don't get Mark Hamill,
voice alike.
Matt Mercer voiced Luke in Star Wars Battlefront. He does a great Mark Hamill voice. If you're gonna do voice actor route, then get someone who's young and sounds like him. Maybe like just doing the
Yeah, you're
digital
not-
thing. It's stupid.
You're not just taking away a job from Mark Hamill. You're taking away a job from a voice actor too.
Yeah.
You're giving
Like,
it to
you
a
could just-
robot.
Like it would be like if Tarkin, like we talked about Tarkin with Rogue One,
Mhm.
like there's still a person behind that performance. There's a person doing the voice, and also like Tarkin. If it would be like if Tarkin was an AI voice.
Oh my god,
Instead,
it would have been so much worse back then too.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you mentioned Tarkin, because people can do Tarkin's voice. It's not a hard voice to do. I would
You
say.
may file when ready.
You may file-
But they hired a guy who's known for mimicking Tarkin,
like
Yeah.
Marquand.
like Mark Wan.
yeah, I would. I'm-
the weaving.
That would be awesome because that guy sounds exactly like Tarkin. It's like it may not be 100% match, but close enough. I mean, shit.
And to be fair, Tarkin is not on the level of Luke Skywalker.
What?
No.
I just want to. I want to just throw this out there and see where we go with it. But like, what do you think is the thing that makes it different between having a deep fake of like Carrie Fisher as Leia in a live action show and having animation of Carrie Fisher for an animated show with Leia,
Yeah.
where they're telling the story? Why is one more okay than the other?
Because
I'm not saying like, oh, that it shouldn't be.
No,
I'm
yeah.
just asking the question.
the way like when you really think about it, there is no difference because they're both
Animation.
some type of animation. But live action is conveying real, and you're conveying that she is really there
Right.
when she is dead. Animation, I know she's not there.
Yeah,
Right, she's a
because
cartoon.
They've already done Leia in animation. She was in Rebels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that feels like it's like Padme in Clone Wars and Natalie Portman in the movies,
Mhm.
right? Like it's always been different, so it will always continue to be different. You know, does that make sense?
No, yeah. I'm just like I'm trying to like dissect my own feelings because like I know how I feel. I know that I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I don't like
Mhm.
Carrie Fisher being readapted into live action.
Yeah.
if they did that in The Mandalorian, I'd be like, no, I'm not okay with this.
You know what? It's
Like,
it's the extra step for me of the voice actor.
Sure, but like, let's
Yeah.
say that they brought in like the same person who would voice Leia for an animated show is voicing Carrie Fisher's double.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Okay,
point.
like what's the difference, right? Like that's what I'm getting at is like why do we have that like reaction?
Because
of,
it's the
this is
uncanny
so-
valley.
and
We
I
know
think,
she's not there.
and I think you're right. I
Yeah,
think I think
yeah.
more than that is like I just it does get too close to feeling like you're parading out a corpse.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Yeah, because she like unless like I don't know if her
Which is,
family is
but it's
making money off of
interesting
this,
that's our reaction to it because it is really just more animation.
Yeah.
It's just really detailed, hyper realistic
but again,
animation.
it's like
But like I agree with you. Like it does just feel that way. It
the
feels
intention
gross.
is different between animation and live action.
Sure.
Just like you're making a cartoon, whether it's a mature or not, it's still animation. Whereas like really nice CGI is animation, but you are creating a real living, breathing person who is not a real living, breathing person anymore.
Yeah.
It's just I find it incredibly disrespectful.
No, yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I mean you're right. It is an animation thing, and not to be disrespectful, but it would be like if Roger Rabbit was. It's like Roger Rabbit and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? It's an animated character being created by a voice actor.
Yeah.
And you're right that the fact that we do have that difference, that disconnect, that idea that like it has to be different, and these kind of like workarounds, like when you get it down to brass tacks, to just skeletal level, how to describe either one is the same thing. It's just the interaction of the live action space creates the dissonance.
And the better the technology gets, honestly, the creepier it gets. Because that is just like if we get a Carrie Fisher as good as the Luke, that's just Carrie Fisher right there. That is horrifying to me. Because she's not there.
Right. Did any of you feel as viscerally about that same what we're talking about when we get the brief flashback to Leia's training in Rise of Skywalker and we see her young?
No.
That's
a good point. That's a very good point.
I think that scene was brief enough where I was okay with it.
That's what I wanted to hit on,
it was
because
obscured and
I
stuff,
didn't
yes.
I didn't feel that same way, and I
Yeah.
knew Carrie Fisher had passed on at that point. We all did.
Also, like
And,
the
like-
scene was shot in a way where like it was about the lightsaber like lighting on her face. So like that scene makes sense. It's not to parade her body or anything like that.
It's like Kurt Douglas. It's like a young Kurt Douglas in Guardians of the movie. You know, it to me, it's even though she is dead and not actually being de-aged, it's like a Marvel character playing a younger version of their character.
Yeah, for me, I think it lands
It's done
in the-
tastefully. I think.
there's something where like a brief moment like that is something tasteful and kind and fits in tribute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it is helped by like not speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
just
again,
being
it's very brief. And
just
we don't
being
see
a
her face
brief
a lot.
visual representation of the person. For some reason, that is okay.
Yeah.
Turning it into a role isn't.
Yeah.
This is more just me like
Working it out. Yeah,
where is the line?
Yeah.
Because there's a line, but like I definitely fall on different sides depending on what the situation is, because young Leia in the flashback doesn't cross the line to me.
I completely
But
forgot
Leia
about that
in
scene.
The Rise of Skywalker does.
Yeah.
But what?
But Leia in The Rise of Skywalker, like Carrie Fisher's role in The Rise of Skywalker.
No, that
does.
didn't really cross the line for me, because so much of that was just repurposed footage.
Oh, it did for me.
That like because that was repurposed footage from Force Awakens.
It's not as egregious, but you can just tell that like, oh, she wasn't there during the actual
Well, that's
film.
sure.
That's what I was talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Like that's the problem for me with that performance specifically, and like Luke in The Mandalorian season 2. It's a different problem in Book of Boba Fett, but like the idea that like I don't believe them that they're there. I
Yes.
don't believe that they are existing in this space.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. I would rather that they were using repurposed footage of her than deep fake creating.
Yeah.
sure.
Same.
That's the thing.
I-
It's
you know-
like if I have to pick
Practical
between the
over
two,
CGI. every time.
I'd rather this
Yeah.
because I feel like it's Carrie Fisher was such a tragedy to lose, especially with where they were clearly heading with a narrative with her. And ultimately, I feel much the same way that I kind of do about Chadwick Boseman passing with Black Panther, where I'm like, delay that movie and kind of give everybody the breathing room to reassess what you're doing, is the same thing that should have happened with Rise of Skywalker. I don't think that movie becomes as much of a train wreck in some ways that we felt it was if they weren't so tumultuously reacting to the loss of Carrie Fisher.
It's true.
And also, and I mean, for me, since that, like when they said that we're going to use repurposed footage of Carrie Fisher, that still is Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
That is still her 100%. I mean, not on the
Not
exact
100%.
well,
the back of it isn't her.
yeah, but close enough.
Yeah.
Like the lines she says is her
she
voice.
is on screen giving lines. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to do some clever body doubles, I assume, here and there. But other than that, that was still.
No, the only thing of Carrie Fisher in that moment is her face.
Yeah.
Like they put her face on a different body, and like that's like for me, it's not necessarily. Like Sparks is right, it's not necessarily the same line, but it does cross a different line for me, in which case of just I don't feel her.
It is also
Right.
also kind of different because like she was going to be in that movie
Yes.
anyway. She was alive,
Yeah.
then she
Yes.
passed.
Right,
Like
that's what he-
they're
that's what he
they're
was
working
talking
around.
about.
There's so much of like, you know, Billy Lord is there, and Billy Lord is kind of working through it with them side by side with them, and like I think that there is something where like you're just trying, you have to give her as a tribute to who she was, her relevance to them, and who that character is, and the relevance to pop culture.
Mhm.
You have to give something because they didn't want to just kill her off screen,
Yeah.
or something like that. And I get that, like you're going through like a tragedy and you're trying to find the best way. And I think they found probably the best possible path forward that they could to respectfully take that character out
Yeah.
of play.
Mhm.
And I am glad that they didn't resort to deep faking her into a bunch of stuff.
But
Yeah.
that would be what like going back to what we're talking about, like what if, you know, that would be what they would do.
That's the fear of what the future could be. This
Yeah.
is something you were bringing up when Book of Boba Fett happened, that you fear them trying to slam the trilogy to get the trio of characters together again. And
Yeah.
again, like I go back to, I don't think that anybody connected to Carrie Fisher would allow them to do
Absolutely, yeah.
it. At this point, I think that is now that is done.
Mhm.
It was Rise of Skywalker was her posthumous appearance, and that was it, and no more.
But then it would be weird. It would be weird if there's two recast versions of the Trinity, and then
Can
a
I
deepfake Luke.
ask you if they did do some live action thing that involved Luke, Leia, and Han at this point,
Mhm.
right? Going wherever it takes place in the timeline, sometime post Return of the Jedi, whether that's a future Mandalorian,
Yes,
Ahsoka
I'm
thing
excited
or
for this
something.
question.
If this happened and they recast Luke in it with recast Han and Leia, that still flows for you,
Yeah.
even though we've had Mark Hamill Luke.
Oh yeah,
This isn't me saying I feel differently. This is me just asking the question.
yeah. No, I don't. See, it comes back to like I don't feel Mark Hamill is a real person in that moment. I
Right.
don't get a sense, but a performance from an actor, from a real person, does give me that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, this is gonna sound really shitty, but like it's the difference between like the Grogu and like a battle droid, I guess, like a fully CGI character versus a practical character. Like I feel Grogu is a real tangible thing, but I don't get that way about like Mark Hamill.
Yes,
in
I
that.
agree, and I would say like I would be fine with seeing another actor even at this point step in and play Luke. However, I think it needs to be just in a different show. Like if they were going to make cameo appearances, I think when Luke shows up again, it needs to be in a different show. If it would be to be played by another actor, just to give.
Oh yeah, I
that
don't want any more
sense of
Luke
space.
cameos.
No, but that's what I mean is like even if Luke was another cameo, but
Yeah.
it was about to be him no longer being done in deepfake, but like played by, let's say, Sebastian Stan, as people have wanted.
All I want,
Like I
Yes,
feel like
yeah.
you get that separation,
Yeah.
and it can't just be like in Mandalorian season 3 he's now played by Sebastian Stan. I'm like, there will be something, not that that's not the path I want them to go down, it is, but there would be something jarring about it.
Yeah,
you're doing it immediately.
I understand that, because there is the idea of like now they've gone too far, like past the point of no return for this idea. And so like I made the joke, like if we ever saw the trio again, it would be Alden Ehrenreich, whoever they would recast as Leia, and then Mark Hamill from the 80s as Luke Skywalker. Like that's weird to me. That's a weird thing to do.
That would be weird, and I do think like they'll at that bridge you just end up recasting
Yeah.
Luke, and I think you'd have the window to do it if you're far enough removed from Mandalorian.
I just want them. Recasting is always my choice. 100% recast all the time, because like actors are great, and it's always nice. Even that's what's great about actors. Like multiple actors can play the same role. That's what's so juicy. Yes, you have certain people who are like, oh, they embody that role, but that's what makes actors great. It's like multiple people can do the thing. Once we bring in digital actors, that just again it ruins the
It would be
talent
like
flow.
Sean Connery coming back to be James Bond.
That is a future I unfortunately see. That
okay.
is more than a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Now-
That is something I could see.
Now, yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, let's say some live action show post this point that they want an appearance of Han, Leia, and Luke.
Mhm.
Leia is just a recast actor.
Yeah.
Flat out, they do stuff with makeup to make it look like Leia, but there's no deep faking to make it look like Carrie Fisher specifically.
Right.
Alden Ehrenreich is back.
Good.
They do deepfake work to make him look like a slightly older, not totally Harrison Ford, but make him
Like
look a little
merging.
closer towards what he would look like at that age.
Yeah.
For Han Solo,
Yeah, okay.
like we're talking like you still see Alden in this. You don't necessarily see Harrison Ford, but more of what was going on with Harrison Ford at that age has now started to appear.
I
on
guess.
Make
like
him look kind of like old man makeup.
this is me like really pushing like where's that line? And Sebastian Stan is now Luke, but with again a little bit of deepfake enhancement now being used kind of like makeup, but it's that next step.
I guess. Yeah.
Neither of them is dead. That's okay.
No, because then just use like I personally don't need
Mm.
them to be all maked up. Like just cast Sebastian
I'm not
Stan.
saying
That
like
goes
they
back
look
to-
exactly like
that
them
goes
now.
back to
No.
the idea of using,
I don't need them to look exactly like them.
that goes back to the idea going earlier in this conversation of like with biopics using
Yeah.
this deepfake technology to make
Mhm.
them look closer. Yeah, that's interesting. Is that the same line? Is the question you're essentially
If
asking?
they're alive.
If they're alive, yeah. Because it would be because in many people's eyes these are historical characters. Like that's why they get so defensive about these. And so like having Alden Ehrenreich look older to match the way he would look now is still
Just leave him be.
Oh,
He's a handsome kid.
I forgot my point. I
It's one of
apologize.
those. It's one of those things where I feel like I'd have to see it to really
If
know how
Solo
I
didn't
feel
come
about
out,
it.
I would say sure, but just like he doesn't need to like get Harrison Ford up. He can just be himself. Like he doesn't. He
Well,
doesn't.
but he's
need
not
a little
talking
bit.
about like becoming more Harrison Ford. He's just saying like just looking older. Like
But he said a little bit of deep fake. And I'm like,
older
we don't
Ehrenreich.
like just give him some bags under his eyes. Like,
Well, I'm
I
saying
don't-
like you're using the deepfake to enhance what would be done with makeup, not necessarily to make him look exactly like Harrison Ford, but to make him look like that age, because we're talking like
I think makeup's cheaper than just to do that.
9 or 10 years post Return of the Jedi.
Sure.
You know what happens there. We've seen
about
this.
20
We've
years.
seen an idea of what this Han looks like. It'd be a little even further down in Battlefront 2.
That's true.
You know, it's that look essentially that they're capturing with him,
Give
which
him a
it's
beard.
yeah, and you can do some of the work with makeup for sure, but if they use some of the deepfake on top of it, and it is getting him closer to Harrison Ford, again, it's Alden Ehrenreich's performance.
I get it.
You still see him under it. Again,
I just don't. I just
me pushing that
yeah.
line.
I just think if you're only gonna do a tiny bit, don't even do it at all. Then
Sure.
like just let him be an actor. Like we know he's Harrison Ford. Like we
Right.
know who he's playing. Like
Right.
you're not fooling anybody. You know. Like
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm in agreement with you. I think I need to see it to really know what like
because like what does that even mean? Like 2%
the-
deep fake? Like what does that even?
the abstract concept of what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
like-
I hear you.
Well,
I'm just
it's
like
what
yeah.
it's like what Marvel got into the habit of doing with like Endgame. Like Steve isn't like old man Steve isn't all makeup. It's a lot of heavy CG
Mhm.
enhancements. Like that's kind of what you're talking about with like doing.
that's
to
not
Alden
deepfake.
Ehrenreich.
yeah, they're not that old yet though.
Yeah, they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just extending some lines and bringing down some cheek levels.
Yes.
But when I say the deepfake, they're using the reference points of those actors at that age,
No, yeah.
Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, to lay that over, rather than like what they think Alden Ehrenreich would look like older.
I see what you're saying. That's like a weird combination thing. That is, I don't. think
It
we
is,
need.
and that's why I'm like, you know, the simpler question would really be,
Do I want it? No.
Alden Ehrenreich is deepfaked into Harrison Ford. How do you
No.
feel about it?
I don't
Like,
want it
that.
because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
made Solo already.
right.
I just want to see Alden Ehrenreich come back. As
That's all I
Han
want. Just
Solo.
exactly. Like actors can just look how they look. Like sometimes, like if we're doing a biopic, that's a different story. But like we know he looks kind of like Harrison Ford. Like no one's like, wait a minute, is that Harrison Ford, y'all? Like it's
No, it goes back to what I said. Like the time to do this story was honestly the 80s, and they didn't. And I'm sorry, but that's past.
And honestly,
at this
like
point.
it's in some ways it's better.
no.
for it
He's
because,
getting
like,
married to Leia soon on the
we're not
holochronic
talking
Star
about-
Braziers.
In some ways, it's better for it, right? Because like you wouldn't get Luke and Ahsoka interacting if they'd made it in the
That's
80s.
true.
Absolutely.
So
She
like
doesn't exist.
there's value to having this story now,
Yeah.
and with Luke. I'm not saying like Luke the character shouldn't appear.
Yeah.
Re-ask your original question earlier again. I want to answer to
Which
it.
one?
Which-
That's a lot.
The one about recasting and like making them look a little like
Oh, that
So
one.
specifically, like if it's
Mhm.
if it's like Alden Ehrenreich and Sebastian Stan are in
Mhm.
there,
Mhm.
totally new person is playing Leia.
Mhm.
And Alden Ehrenreich and Sebastian Stan have deep fake put over their makeup to make them look more like the older age appropriate versions of the actors Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill to be those characters, but it's still them doing the performance. It's still them under that.
I say no.
Right.
I mean, we all
I
say
say
no. To be fair,
no. I mean,
Everything we've talked about so far has been a no.
to me, if you
Not true. We came to a
yeah.
yes on the biopics.
We
We
did,
agree
we
that
did.
biopics is a representation of deepfake.
I
That is a
did.
good
I
use.
still would rather watch the movie Elvis with just an actor looking like that than some not guy who's not really Elvis,
Sure.
in my opinion.
I mean, my reasoning is if you recast these characters, they're recast. That's how they are.
yeah, right. Why is interestingly why is Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher? Those are not all actors' names, but like, why are all these characters the few legacy characters that cannot be recast? Like, we've had people take on roles from legacy characters before. You mentioned Rhodey.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mark
James
Ruffalo,
Bond every couple movies, yeah.
James Bond, but these characters cannot be recast. And like, we get the sense that like Lucasfilm agrees with the people who say this,
Yeah.
because of what they did.
I think they
Luke
agree with it
Skywalker.
too. Like,
These characters are the ones that can never be recast.
It's because Solo didn't get the reception. It
honestly,
deserved.
yeah, like for real. And like they have such a branding on what these people look like. And now that they have the MCU and like actors are like tied to characters, like it's even more apparent
Yeah.
in Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Where like all that stuff's like really important. Where like, unfortunately, like 1984 looking Luke is like one of the most famous looking people in the planet for a lot of people. So like to have him come back is really big for a lot of people. Is it the answer? No, it's not. But like it made a lot of people happy. So like that's just unfortunately like nostalgia is the drug of our century. So like we're gonna get more of it than not. I just hope it's done well. That's all I can ask for.
Real quickly, Mag is going to bed early. Good night, Mag.
Good night, bud.
Thank
night,
you
sir.
for coming in. Appreciate you. And DPM Gaming TM, I think Ben probably knows them.
What's up, Ben Magnets?
Hey, what's up, Ben Magnets? What's up, FNP? Hello, sir.
I think I know that. Wait, what's the username?
DMP Gaming TM.
DPM Gaming TM.
I think I know who
Digital
that is.
Public.
Well, they're very
Magazine.
upset now that you don't know, that you don't remember them immediately.
They're crying about it. I see it.
Yep. All the crying emojis. Okay. No, Ben, don't
He's
look.
not really.
Oh my God.
Trying to be like,
On that note,
Definitely
Put
not
Gullible
crying.
on the ceiling for you.
no, I'm not falling for that.
you fell for this.
Shut
No,
up.
see, you got a sticker, and you'll never know because I put it like right up there.
I
Somewhere.
hate you. I'm not gonna look up.
Oh, you do.
But no, I'm not gonna do it.
I'll tell you where I put it.
I'm not gonna- I'm not
Okay.
gonna do it.
Shall we? I think we're good. You think we're good, Sparks?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we talked around a lot of it.
Yeah.
There, it is not in our hands, but it's nice to kind of get to express our both frustrations and kind of hopes for where.
I do think it's a
Things can
fascinating.
go.
I love speculating on this type of thing. I think it's a very fascinating idea of like, the what if scenario that this could create and the ramifications of it. I'm really glad you brought this up.
I really do think it is a matter of when that we get some really like it could be very out there, not like actually trying to replace episode 7, 8, and 9, but some kind of like alternate what if comic of
Like the Infinity comics.
the
The
Infinity
Star
comics.
Wars has come out. Yeah, like,
Legends.
yes.
Legends essentially exists as a concept of multiverse, at least in terms of what happens post Return of the Jedi. Everything else after that you can kind of debate about, or everything before that you can kind of debate about in
Yeah.
some ways. But
Do I absolutely think that like a what if episode 7 came out? What if Rey joined Palpatine? Yes, I absolutely think that will happen in the future, and that's the only thing about new sequel stuff we will ever get.
I hope that we get
Mhm.
I think we'll get some sequel stuff.
No, I mean like I
eventually.
meant like new like redoing those.
Redoing
that's
it,
not
yeah.
happening.
I would
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to
Right.
see the Infinite comics come back.
I-
Dark Horse put out. We did them as a book club.
I
a while back,
guarantee.
because they have only done the original trilogy, and we know that the writers at Dark Horse at the time wanted to do the prequel trilogy, but couldn't because they had this weird rule that like Skywalker had to become Darth Vader at the end of them.
Mhm.
But the interesting thing that I would love to see is kind of what Sparks was talking about, like the what if comics of like the Infinite comics coming back and doing prequels and sequels, and like having those be like part of that multiverse idea that you're talking about.
That's I'm 100% into that idea.
It's
Absolutely.
it's the only way, really, honestly, to appease
Yeah.
the vocal minority.
And they
of
won't read it
people who
either
don't.
because they're shitholes who don't read comics. So nobody wins ever.
And that's the case. Like even if we go if we take this what if scenario to its ultimate conclusion, which is that Lucasfilm would do it, quote unquote, the idea of it wouldn't make them happy anyway because it's not going to be what they're looking for unless they were able to project what their mental image of what they need onto the screen. That's the only way that this movie would
And they're not unified in that vision.
and they're
Not
not unified
even
in
close.
that vision. So like there's no way that that anything that Lucasfilm would make would appease them.
For sure.
You cannot please everyone,
And
and it's very easy to piss everyone off.
That's kind of where it comes to like the frustration that I've been having of people saying people using the Mandalorian as proof positive that Lucasfilm is retconning the sequels. It's like,
Mhm.
well, the Mandalorian isn't even going to be what you want eventually. Like you're going to turn on it too.
Right.
Mhm.
Sure.
So
That's a good point.
And
It's only a matter of time. I
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
there's gonna. I don't know how people who don't like know anything about Rebels are gonna react to how that Ahsoka series plays out.
Yeah, exactly.
I just one of my friends on Twitter was like heart emoji. I'm never watching Rebels, and I'm like, bro, you're gonna have a lot of questions in the next couple of years. Then
But
Oh, yeah,
people
th-
talking
th-
about
there's-
Obi-Wan
Mhm.
wanting like people wanting Maul and Obi-Wan.
Maul and Obi-Wan, and it's
Oh,
like,
wow.
bro, go watch Rebels.
Go watch Rebels.
I don't watch
Yeah.
cartoons. Like so then you're asking for something you're never gonna get. Like what do you want?
uh-huh.
Right, and so like
The exact material you're asking for exists. You
It's
just have to go
made.
seek it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, that's a bummer.
It's good stuff. There's good stuff in there too. People just think, oh, it's a cartoon. It's
Rebels
like-
is incredible.
I love Rebels so much.
people
Yeah.
just think, oh, it's a cartoon. It's like, yeah, so what? So what if it's a cartoon? So what's a comic book? There's some great stuff in there. Like the scene where Vader finds out Lucas's son in the comic books is freaking amazing.
Right, and so like you have this idea, you have this kind of like almost idea of like whatever the Mandalorian New Republic era is building towards, because they have said that like Ahsoka will tie in back to Mandalorian, like whatever that is, will be heavily informed by like Rebels, which has come before, and so having not known that, like they've already turned on Ahsoka once before,
Right.
they'll probably just do it again.
May I pose one last outlandish scenario just
Sure,
to
I
kind
love
of
it.
get one more gauge on how we feel about deepfake technology and where it's utilized?
I love it.
In the Obi-Wan Kenobi series,
Mhm.
let's say there is a flashback to pre-Episode 1 The Phantom Menace with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh,
Deepfake on Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor to make them look just before Phantom Menace age. Yay or nay?
Yeah, that's fine.
well, yeah, because that would be like
Mhm.
that would
That's
be
just-
like the
with
same
those
All the
actors back-
Marvel stuff.
Again, like just
That's
as a
no big
tool,
deal.
Yeah,
right?
That's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah, that's
That's just Marvel.
more like if they
that
get
would be
Liam-
like Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Right.
And Captain Marvel. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. It's like, it goes back to what we were talking about with like the fight scene between Luke and Leia in the flashback. It's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same situation.
Right.
As long as it's them and they're delivering the performance, like it doesn't really bother me all that much.
Right.
But yeah, there is a like, Obi-Wan was recast. Like Alec Guinness was the original Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But they're not going to deep fake Ewan McGregor to
No.
look like Alec Guinness.
Somebody said the dark true future is they're gonna deepfake Alec Guinness's face onto Obi-Wan. I'm like, wow, they would definitely do that after him being an entire trilogy of movies.
or they
Right.
would just like color Ewan's
People,
beard.
No,
that's why
no,
people
no.
on the internet are stupid, you
If-
guys.
If George Lucas ever wanted to go back and do another pass at the original trilogy, he'd deep fake Ewan McGregor's face onto Alec Guinness.
Oh my
I mean, he already
God.
shoved Hayden Christensen over
That's
the
what I was
original actor of
thinking of.
Anakin. Yeah,
That bums me out every time I think
it
about
bums me out too.
All right,
I understand the logic of it. I just disagree with it.
me too.
That is a no, we can't get into it.
Shall we?
Ryan's like, there's no logic to it. It's stupid.
It is stupid. Speaking of something that's not stupid,
Shall we get into our book club? then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
books.
All right, we're back. I don't know why I keep saying that on this. It's weird.
We're back from break.
Sparks, is your book club. Take it away.
Yeah, we're talking about Star Wars: The High Republic Volume 1 because there are new stories happening in the early days
I'm gonna use the restroom.
of the High Republic.
Cool.
This is the first 5 issues collected in the volume There Is No Fear, written by Kevin Scott with art by Ario and Anandito and Mark Morales. I really had a
This
good time.
Takes place
just exploring-
200 years
Yep.
before Star Wars that we know. Takes place several thousand years after the Old Republic. And this is the High Republic.
I love their little timeline.
Yeah, I love
of,
it.
like,
Absolutely.
phases, and I love that the High Republic has a little
To go to the Old
little
Republic.
thing going up, something more.
Something a little ancient.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
Like you want the old Republic stuff, we might get it to you.
So this is a couple hundred years before the fall of the Jedi.
Mhm.
And we're following the Trandoshan Jedi Master Skier
Love them.
and Keeve,
Yep.
his
Mhm.
apprentice,
Who not only has a double bladed lightsaber, it detaches.
It's a split saber,
It's-
yeah.
That's dope as hell.
Oh, that's
it's real cool. It's real cool. As Keeve finally becomes a Jedi Knight.
Yep.
And
Starlight
goes
Beacon.
out on a mission that encounters some real messed up
A
aliens.
parasitic plant
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah.
Plants.
This
The
is a-
Drekner.
This is a mission, no joke. This is the exact one of the missions from Mass Effect where you go to a colony that's been overtaken by a parasitic plant monster.
Emma's going out of cord.
Emma's going crazy. So I love this. I maybe just because I've been watching something new in Star Wars, but like it's really refreshing and cool. I liked the first issue a lot, and then the ending I really was intrigued, and then the second issue I fell in love with it. I really like this stuff a lot. I like all the characters. I like the it is kind of like a smaller story about like this plant monster that it's dealing with, but like all the stuff that it's talking about with the Force and like building like to the Outer Rim and stuff. I'm like, I really like it. Like I'm so glad I got Marvel Unlimited so I can just immediately read all of this like after this.
Yeah. I echo much of exactly what you're saying of just feeling kind of refreshed by this. And there's only I want to get it out of the way because there's one tiny note of like this bothers me about this is that this is 200 years before the Phantom Menace, as we expressed, and they appear to have superior, in fact, near perfect communication across space.
That's gonna
in
change.
a way,
I think that's gonna change.
in a way that modern Star Wars clearly does not.
Yes.
They have hologram technology that barely gets through most of the time, but in this, it's just like, yo, what's up?
So
well, remember,
perfectly,
half the
perfectly cued into each
half
other.
the time with that hologram stuff, a lot of times the signal's getting jammed.
So
Sure.
I 100% I do think because this is also a thing in the Old Republic where like technology is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
I do think that we are building to how we become a more scrappy universe. How a more rustic, not Star Trek world, because it is kind of like a Star Trek world right now, where it's very like aesthetically clean and things are in good shape.
Yeah, it's
Whatever-
kind of like a technologically advanced Camelot.
I mean, the
Yes.
Jedi have their own Justice League
Watchtower.
Watchtower.
It's
yeah.
funny that the Starlight Citadel exists in Marvel, and they're like, "What are we gonna call our thing in Star Wars? Let's just almost call it the same thing." Like, great job, guys.
Starlight Beacon.
there's the one of the things I kind of enjoyed about this is like Bacta hasn't been widely distributed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they're trying
I took a note of that too. That
Yeah.
Bacta is about to be on the rise.
Yeah,
It's
because
like-
it's like we're gonna invest heavily on this Bacta thing because of what happened in the book that Charles Soule wrote prior to this book
Right.
coming out, and having like that be the technology that hasn't quite progressed yet is interesting to me. Like they have a rejuvenation system, but it's not as reliable as Bacta.
Something that I love that they introduce in here. It's like, oh, I can't hear a song within the Force. Like you can't hear like the way that he talks to you through the Force, because like they've talked about like, oh, I hear like they have like a weird ethereal, like you can feel other Jedi, but I don't think they've ever called it something. And saying it's like, oh, I can't hear his song. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And the stuff with Skier, where like he is slowly like losing his connection to the Force and like maybe going to the dark side. Like I thought stuff was really cool. Big fan of it.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what Skier saw at the end of issue 1.
Yeah.
Where he just like freezes and goes no and screams no.
darkness.
I want to say it's maybe the fall of the Jedi, but I could be wrong.
I always kind of took it as like he was upset that he didn't see the because he says at the time like I didn't feel the bugs the swarm in the Force. I took it as like retroactively that's what he was yelling no because he was frustrated that he couldn't hear anything through the Force anymore.
Interesting.
Oh, I read it as like I didn't read that. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't notice. I didn't think he saw anything. I saw that he knew his connection was waning, and that's what he was screaming about.
Fascinating.
Okay,
I love it.
That's a good interpretation. I mean, I just saw it as him just going somewhere and then him have a future sight and go, oh shit, this is some bad juju.
Because he says later on, and like when we got to this planet, I didn't feel the dark side.
Yeah.
And like when the High Chancellor or whatever of the Jedi shows up and she's like, how did you not feel the dark side? It's everywhere on this planet.
He's like,
and like he's caught dumbfounded because his connection to the Force has been drastically weakened.
Yeah.
There is something kind of X-Men-y feeling about this, isn't there? Like
Yeah,
the way it's put together with them at the Starlight. Like I feel like we got Beast and like doing his analysis
Okay.
and like radioing in through Jean or Cyclops to the team that's on the ground, which is like Wolverine.
It's
and
definitely
Kate.
it's like because this does feel like like in the like the Clone Wars era. What's that era called?
The Fall of the Jedi.
The Fall of the Jedi. Okay, because like
That's the official title.
they
now.
all have like Jedi teams and stuff, but like this, it definitely feels different. Like the Starlight Beacon, because it is a brand new thing. Like it feels like everyone's alive with energy,
Mhm.
and like they're all like excited to like be on this thing and to like do this big adventure into the outer spaces. It is again like a really refreshing take, and like not a sand desert in sight, you guys. No tattoo. Oh my god.
No,
Did
no
you guys
desert.
love the Mulan reference in this, where she had to climb the thing? Oh, I
Yeah.
love Mulan.
Also, I just like the little pixie dude. It's
Oh,
like
little
friend
cutie.
Keeve, and then
Yeah.
like Keeve just like also just how Keeve just goes up to the marshal. The marshal started beacon and she knights her. I was like, because she's like, stop swearing. Seriously, it's like her little inner monologues. I love it. Like she's like, stop swearing. Seriously, stop it.
We get a brief look at the presence of the Sith.
Mhm.
through
Yeah.
the-
Very
through the
briefly.
drip hair.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So I did not love this as much as you guys have.
Okay.
I really liked it. I really like the setting. I really like what we're seeing with the Jedi. I thought it was very intriguing that we only get Yoda and the other Grandmaster at the time. For a brief moment, I enjoyed seeing that glimpse of what the Jedi are doing on Coruscant. But I really didn't like the plot it was telling, the plant creatures. I wasn't crazy about that.
Sure.
Everything else around it, really into.
Okay.
Before I go into some of the plant stuff, I do want to talk about
The Marshal.
the Marshal Avar Triss.
Mhm.
Real cool lady. Super nice. Like when Skier says these animals have no honor, she responds with, "Master Skier, we never demonize our enemies. No matter what atrocities they have committed in the past, they are still living beings. Like you are a good soul. Welcome, Marshal. I like you."
Right. This is the idea is that this is like the perfect Jedi.
Yeah.
This was the Jedi at their height. This is what they're fighting to protect in the Phantom Menace.
Right.
But they've already lost.
That they think they still are.
We
yeah.
got
Right.
the creepy twins, Sarah
Yes.
and Tarek. Love them. Love
Yeah.
them.
I really like the costume design and the,
Oh, yeah.
and the saber
Mhm.
designs in this.
Also,
They're my,
The
that's my
saber
favorites.
designs are great.
for
I
light
like-
and life.
I like Scree's lightsaber that has a hilt, has a cover or a guard.
Reminds me of
Oh
Ezra's.
my god, you guys! When I saw
Me too.
this mother effer,
The Hut.
when I saw
The Hut Warrior.
the Hut Warrior guy, I
girl. It's a girl.
oh, I
Yeah,
love
she's
it.
a badass.
Dude, she is so fun. I didn't realize that you could have warrior huts. This is fantastic. They got their Gamorreans riding armored rancors. Like, I'm here to take over the planet, but we got to work together.
You know-
Love it.
You know what's interesting about like the costume design that I just noticed? Is it's very similar to their Clone Wars outfits
Mhm.
in a way. Like it's not the monk robes. They haven't adopted that yet.
Right.
In the Jedi Order, they're still kind of this like knight. They're like knights. They're not monks yet. And seeing their like armor in the Clone Wars, you definitely get the sense that like that's what they were going for. What the Jedi were going for when they became these generals was like, we want to go back to what we were 200 years ago during the High Republic.
Peaceful.
And I think that's kind of cool that the High Republic costume design reflects almost that warrior like nature that they were in Clone
Right.
Wars.
Sure.
I just love all the new alien creatures that we see. We see so many new ones, and then we also get this beautiful guy when Skier is getting a scan. There's like a snake man with a helmet on.
Oh, is that issue 6?
Yeah. Oh, is this issue 6? Oopsies.
I only read
I
up to
don't
issue
Sorry,
know that,
5.
sorry. Yeah. Amazon lied to me and said it's 6 issues, but I read issue 6, and I didn't feel issue 5 ended the arc right, so I read the next issue, which makes
I
more sense.
almost read issue 6, but then it was like, oh, it's 3 o'clock.
No,
in the
I get you,
morning.
it's
I
fine.
need to
Yeah,
go to F to sleep.
It's just like a continuation of great character stuff. Skier, I am so interested in Skier's character. I love
Me
that
too.
one armed dude who gets a cool like Kirk Cohen arm build. I love it.
A Trandoshan Jedi, which we've never seen before.
Love it.
Yep.
Scaling.
I could have swore we saw a Wookiee Jedi in the audience, but I could
There
have
is a
been.
No,
there
there
is
is.
a Wookiee.
That
there-
is a Wookiee Jedi?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was a Wookiee Jedi. I didn't bring him up because we've seen Wookiee Jedi in the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
So like that's not rare to me, but like a Trandoshan Jedi is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the it's like Vizsla, like
Yeah,
the Mandalorian
the
Jedi. Like it's
Mandalorian.
rare that this species has become a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. I mean, normally was okay for me. Was stuff with Star Wars, especially back when Legends was getting really, really big. I was kind of at stuff before because it's like I don't know. It just didn't really grab me.
Well,
It's-
they dropped the moon on Chewbacca.
I hate that. But like the prequel, like stuff before the prequels, the stuff in the early, like of course people say, yeah, the Old Republic game is really fun. You have a bunch of stuff.
Right, there was like the Rise of the Sith comics, and
Mhm.
and there was a ton of comics that were set like hundreds of years before,
Mhm.
like not quite in this time period.
The
Like what,
Jedi Sith War.
right,
Mhm.
right. What I think is interesting about the High Republic we talked about when it was announced was that it is sitting in a place that Star Wars has not explored ever, even
Yeah.
in the original Legends.
I mean, before stuff like that is like, hey, I want to read what happened before the Phantom Menace. It's like, I don't care because I know how it's going to end. But now, as for you, it's like, actually, I'm interested in how did the Jedi work? How did the galaxy view the Jedi? What were the Sith doing? What was exactly was going on?
The Sith, as they can't use the Sith, and I think kind of interesting. I think what's interesting about the High Republic also is that they can't use the Sith because it is explicitly stated in the Phantom Menace we have not seen a Sith for 1,000 years.
Spoilers for like the marketing for this for these Star Wars comics, but like the threat are basically like a galactic wide like barbarian savages.
The Nihil,
yeah,
is what they're
like
called.
I don't know, like the Annihilus wave from Marvel, but like in like alien form.
Yeah, and I think that was smart going away from the Sith because they have been done to death in the original Legends. They've done the Sith.
And in Knights of the Old Republic, that's all about the war between them.
And then like everything has been about the Jedi and the Sith. So going back to like if we're going here, we can't use the Sith. We just can't because they've not seen the Sith in thousands of years.
Yeah.
Right.
The
So
Sith
like
have been synced for over millennia.
We have to create this different threat, and I think what's fun about this High Republic era is seeing them without Sith involvement. Like they are so far past it, and how they've developed.
They're being their best cops.
They're being their best cop.
Sometimes you need to be a space cop.
You know what? They're the Green Lantern Corps.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're cops.
Yeah, they are.
Real quickly, Grayson is in the chats if you don't mind.
Grayson.
Real quickly, Grayson says something I thought was kind of funny. I actually really appreciate everyone being accepting of Brandon admitting this book wasn't a huge hit for him. Everyone's really accepting. Thank you.
Hey man, it happens.
That was funny.
I really like the page.
That's such a good page
in the first issue where Keeve connects with the Force and senses where they're all going.
Yeah.
That's just like I'd love to see that kind of stuff, that kind of visual art look like.
We haven't talked about the art
Force.
really. The art's great.
It's really good art.
Really, like especially with like the detailed aliens, like the Trandoshans with like scales, like really good.
Or the
detailed...
huts with all their wrinkles.
Oh my god, and like all the skulls. Oh god, I love that hut, man, so much. The thing I love about the Starlight Beacon that is really cool is that it's putting out a signal. It's like, hey, come to us, like if you need help or whatever. But like it's in a place in like the Outer Rim where like bad shit is gonna now come to them.
The frequency of it is messing up the swarms. Migration.
There you go.
And I thought, like I really like the first issue because I like stuff like that. Going like this is, it's what like the sphere data at Star Trek Discovery. Like this feels very Star Wars. This idea that like, and so like the fix is we're just gonna change the frequency. Everyone will be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna notice.
And also
except for these bugs.
The Outer Rim frontier. So for them, it's like we haven't really explored this part of the galaxy yet.
Yeah.
So then like, hey, here's this beacon. And then it's like, oh shit,
there's a home base for the future.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh shit, there's a thing that our frequency is getting messed.
So
let's fix that. Shall we?
Now that the beacon is out, they sent a signal out, and the deadliest force in the universe is now slowly coming to kick their asses. And will they win? I don't know. They're not around anymore, so we'll see.
It's so interesting to see like how connected the High Republic era is, because this directly references the Charles Soule book.
Sure.
Many times.
Right.
And you got Yoda and stuff.
Like this is we're talking about a group of people who went to a retreat for a while.
Yeah.
Like a week or two.
Plan this out.
And planned out the books, the comics, and like the trajectory of where they're going with the High Republic, and continue to check in with each other like this. They are doing the kind of communication with each other, but it's easier to do with that than it is seemingly with
the big
those
stuff.
plus the TV shows and the films.
And it's kind of cool to see that, like, while yes, this references the great disaster was in Charles. I haven't read the High Republic novel, but like whatever that was that the Nihil was about, that the Nihil caused. The Nihil aren't in this exactly, but they are referenced, and you don't need it, right? You don't need to have read the book,
right,
to understand it, because you get the context clues, much like you did when you would watch the Star Wars movie and they'd be like, I served in Clone Wars.
Do we know?
Who cares?
Is that the prequel to this book?
Yes, that came first, and
that's the starting point of the High Republic.
I'm gonna read that book this week. I really like this.
That introduces the Nihil and the threat that sets off the High Republic era.
I'm gonna read that book.
I thought it was the destruction of Starlight Beacon, but it wasn't, clearly. So,
right.
No, Opal Luna's hair.
Although that is coming,
I
think. I think that is coming, because the Kevin Scott novel coming soon has the Starlight Beacon falling into the planet.
Beacon lost.
So I'm very curious to read more of this.
Yeah, I think that it's just a good taste of what the High Republic era has to offer, and it's like it's. I think the key word is refreshing.
Absolutely,
it's just refreshing Star Wars.
Like if you want it is the thing that I've been complaining about. Of like, I want something new, and I was like, it's here. It's here.
Damn shame that game is made by those people. I would love to play a game with the High Republic.
Yeah.
I love
Oh, yeah.
I love the autopsy on the hut and how it goes
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, dude. Turn to
that's
the
great.
thing for a second.
The
Beautiful.
drink gear.
We're
Love
getting
it.
a Disney Plus TV show on the High Republic. I really love the saber
Is that the
designs.
Acolyte? Is it Acolyte?
It's Acolyte,
Oh
yeah.
baby.
Ooh.
It's like supposedly the end of the High Republic era. So like we'll see the end of
Isn't it
it.
about like the Sith? Like isn't it about the Sith? That one?
No, it's about
We have reason to believe that it's about the Night Sisters.
Shit.
yeah, that's right. So who knows?
Cool. I'm into it.
I'm excited for that because I like this era. It does, as Spark said, as Ryan has said as well. It is refreshing. It feels refreshing. Like this is something new in the Star Wars universe that can grow into something. And I would like to see more from it outside of the written word. And I'm glad that they are.
It'll get
trying
there
to-
eventually.
But I really like the saber designs. Like I love the crossguard saber designs. I want to mention some of the Art Deco on them. The
For sure.
crossguard one was really cool. There's a lightsaber book that I have that has two from the High Republic, and one of them has like beams connecting to the crystal that's exposed and then shooting the beam up. And it's so cool.
My only real like strong negative is that this wasn't enough story for a single volume. Like
Yes.
That's why
I
I
needed
six-
more out
that's
of
why I
it.
did
Yeah,
six
absolutely.
volume, yeah.
I started the 6th issue, so like I couldn't like I'm like this is not enough.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
I
I will by this next podcast, I will have read all of the comics, maybe an entire book. I'm invested.
There you go.
I'm in.
love it.
in it to
I
win it.
love it. I'm
Do-do-do-do.
glad to have you reconnecting with something in Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
I'm just glad that I can, because I think I was picking up the High Republic, and I think they forgot to put a month in my poll.
It's me too, dude. I swear to God, me too. I had like the first 3 issues, and I'm like,
I
I'm
had,
not
the
reading it.
Yeah, I know, but now I have Marvel Unlimited, so like, cool, I could catch up because
Bless you.
I like this. I was enjoying what I was reading with High Republic, so I'm like, cool, I can continue now.
There's just something really cool about a one-armed lizard Jedi
You know
who's
what there
losing his
is?
connection to the Force.
And also,
like,
I love,
so sad.
and also, Kyu's lightsabers. If I were to have a lightsaber,
my
it'd
God.
be that. Pretty much.
Love
I
it.
actually went before they did the new lightsabers at Disneyland, the old ones. I even asked, "Is like, hey, if you build a double, can you like take it off?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, go from a double to like a double blade lightsaber
So
to
you
2
can't make a
lightsabers.
double-sided blade in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, no, you can't. But I was asking like in the back when they would like build your own lightsaber outside when you exit Star Tours.
Oh yeah,
It's-
you can do that.
I know you can make a double-sided blade, but I want to know if you could just like go twist it and take it off.
No,
Yeah,
because
no.
it's just
You can
it's
mod
still
it.
one lightsaber.
You can
Yeah.
mod it.
Yeah, they have Ahsoka's and Maul's blade at Galaxy's Edge that you can buy, and you have to buy 2 so that they can connect,
So you had to spend a lot more money.
Yeah, you did.
which is kind of cool. But
Yeah,
That is cool.
it's very expensive.
Yeah,
Okay.
I bet it is.
Anything else we want to add about this?
No.
Star Wars is back, but not the way you thought.
All right, Ben, it's your book club next week. Do you know what it is?
I do know what it is. Stop-
Fascinating.
Oh, this looks familiar.
Yeah, it's
Fascinating.
it was my Christmas present from Ryan. It's the Kaiju score
Oh.
by James Patrick and written by James Patrick and drawn by Rem Bro or Brew. It's Broo. So I think it's Brew, not Bro.
The Kaiju score.
Yep,
yeah,
the
dude.
Kaiju score.
Okay. Next week, who knows what we're doing? We have an idea. Well, we'll see what happens. But the Batman's coming soon, guys. All right.
Soon. Keyword there being soon.
Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel. We're wrapping up now. If you subscribe to this channel, you can check out all sorts of other things, such as Fake Nerds Watch, which is our series. We've just done a Book of Boba Fett. I'm doing Star Trek Discovery, and a Peacemaker one is coming up soon. So you can find all those episodes on this channel. Of course, Basement Arcade just put out a new episode of Mortal Kombat X. So
Get over here.
more of those will be coming soon. Basement Arcade Posman, you just put out a new episode.
That it did.
Retro Zoe, right?
Yeah, Retro Zoe.
Picnic Book Club, Animation Station as well. Of course, you can also check out Conversation, which is my audio show. I'm actively working on season 2 now. I've got a recording date going.
Woo!
So stay tuned for that. You can check out some masks. We have some masks still available. You can find them at a link below at Crafted by Z. That's my partner's shop. We have a Patreon account and with TeePublic, both linked below. Check those out if you want to support us financially. Of course, our website linked below, fakenerdpodcast.com. All of our links are there. Everything you want to know about us, it's all there. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone for watching the live show. Thank you for everyone who watches the rewind. We greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you, Jeremy Bellucci. He did all the music that you heard here tonight and all the music for our intro, for our other intros for our other shows. You can find him at Jeremy Bellucci Keyboards. You can find his podcast, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes, of course, but Facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist official, or Instagram at Subproc Podcast for updates on what that is. Mike Matola, good friend of the podcast, Mike Matola. That was the idea. Talk to you guys after this. Mike Matola, he's done some logos for us. He did some wonderful Mike's Possible Movie Trivia Challenges you should check out. You can find him at Mike Matola on Instagram and TikTok. Fake Nerd Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook if you'd like to get in touch with us. fakenerdguys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for Screen Rant, Atomic Geekdom, and I'm the editor for Kaiju Ramen. Brian?
You could find me listening to the Star Wars Light of the Jedi audiobook that I literally just bought on audible.com at DJ Tony Snark.
It's true. He showed it to me. He's like,
I had a
"Ooh."
credit. Thank you, Amazon.
Ben?
You can find me playing my PS5 once I finish with once I meet my deadlines at BedMac27 on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me writing for OldSchoolGamerMagazine.com and the actual magazine itself. Ooh, so excited to show you guys my first published article. I'm so excited. Woo! And also writing for GoNintendo.com as well as Fusion Gaming Magazine.
Hell yeah, boy.
Sparks.
You can find me being a deep fake of a real person at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
It's true. All of it.
Hey, if you're getting Elden Ring this week, hit me up because I'm so effing excited. I can't contain my multitudes of excitement.
I just wish my bank account would let me because I'm also going to SoCal Retro Gaming Expo next week, and it's like, do I bring money for that or do I save for Elden Ring? I don't know. Please tax return. Hurry up and hit my bank account. I need the money.
Elden
Both ZPM, Gaming TM, and Grayson Live both say have a good night.
Thanks.
Have a good
Thanks,
night. Thank you, my friends.
You as well. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcast, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and until next time we see us, stay fake nerds.